dentro a carote la inuti.
Get up. Huh, look out.
In the boss one, I'm gonna get mine. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. Or I'm mad dad when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't listen.
Phones are working.
Really likes that note. One for the heart.
Good morning, Trenton. Hello?
Hello, everyone.
Hello? This is the SativaCross.com Ignorance is No Excuse tour coming to you live with our podcast from Chris Christie's old office, where he used to be.
Next to his old office.
Kind of down the street.
Where he used to be.
Hold on a second. Here it comes. Ready? Wait for it. Wait for it.
That brings you home.
That brings me home. Bring me home.
Bring me home. What are we waiting for?
Ah, there it is. I can't start the show till you hear that. That's the official start.
That's the song I have stuck in my head sometimes. I never noticed that.
Good morning, Jim Miller.
Good morning, Lefty Drive. Morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Tony.
Hello.
Billy Huff. JSJ. Jersey supports Jersey. Jersey supports Jersey.
This would be our 78th weekly State House podcast.
78.
Yes, now that doesn't count 6, including the one we had Monday that were podcasts during those, since 2014 at the State House. So since we began the weekly podcasts between April and Thanksgiving in June of 2014, we've had 84 podcasts and 21 gatherings. We've been here 105 times since Jenny Storm started her weekly thing and then moved to Colorado for the health and safety of her son. 105 times. Pretty sure tenacity is the right word. And continuing credit from the people who protect and service on state grounds here, the state police. They have great respect for that tenacity because they give permits to everybody, and nobody's had this many. Nobody. We've had the most ever. We've had the most permits. Everybody tells me they love it. They really love it.
The lazy stoners.
I just feel like I ought to be more presidential about things sometimes. And you know, when you are actually that far above somebody, not just feeling like it or saying it, we are. We're a cut above the rest, as far as tenacity goes. But to be fair, I'm disabled. Ground to cover. Apologize in advance for any throat issues I have. It'll keep me from talking or swallowing in the middle of a sentence. My voice goes like that. Which is why I was asking Lefty, because he wasn't doing good on Monday and I wasn't doing good on Monday, but it was a pivotal day. It was a discussion, a hearing in committee
we were all
about
struggling.
legalization. And you know, at times we had to alternate. I had to sit back in the car with air conditioning. And then,
That's what I kept going inside to the Senate and sitting in the air conditioning in there.
so, you know, while we might bitch about that, the people we represent were probably somewhere facing far greater problems and looking out and going, I wish I could bitch about having to lay down in a car doing that in front of the State House, you know, so that's something that's hard not to keep in mind doing what we do.
Yeah, we all
And
play our part the
you
way
know,
we can.
And I got to say, I didn't mean to before be talking about other people don't show up all the time, so we're cool. I think it's just that our issue is so personal and important in a matter of life and death that if you don't show up for a transportation issue, it's not like somebody dies the next day and you wish you'd done something, give them a little boost on the way, you know. And we say it all the time, and we read a memorial to people that have died, a few that we know, just to keep somber and make sure that we keep our eye on the prize, which is that. So now that we're getting closer, it's this is part of history. We're going to look back one day. Well, I turned 65 a couple of days ago, so I don't know about one day looking back for me. I'd be
Happy
like,
birthday,
I'd be like
Happy
drooling
birthday,
wearing a
Jim.
diaper or something. But you know, I look back at the late 70s when getting caught with a joint was not the issue because they would never, police would not write you up for a joint. It was going to be legal. You know, it was that benign then. In the 60s when it was a lot like more open, then it was a bigger problem. But it was before the Ronald Reagan's war on drugs, his version of it. And we coasted. Potheads, we coasted. We're almost there. We're cool. And then just say no and it was all gone. So I'm seeing it again 40 years later.
No time to let up now.
Well, no, it's like it's not Ronald Reagan,
It should have been called
you know.
"Just Show Me the Money."
Well, we need to be diligent, especially. You know, it's like pushing a tire downhill, and when it's almost there, you want to stop and watch it. Well, I'm going to keep kicking it all the way this time. You know.
Absolutely. We learned the lesson in the 80s there. We have to take that
Yeah.
lesson.
We learned that we didn't push it home in the 70s. But we didn't have the information then that we do now. It's a big difference now. Every time you turn around.
40 years more science now.
Yeah, I'm just reading for the first time last night or this morning about the, was it the connection to autism, I think. The emerging science, brand new. And it was a little too scientific for me, which is probably good because it's written by a scientist, not by somebody like State Senator Gerald Cardinale, who will
Don't
paraphrase
even get me
things.
started on him.
Yeah. No, we're going to get started on Senator Gerald Cardinale. He was born before the drug war. He's lived through it. If anybody should know something about the drug war and its failings, it should be him. Not to mention he's a dentist, I believe, practicing. So when he says publicly to a reporter that there's a New England Journal of Medicine publication recently out saying that there's 2 areas of the brain that are affected by cannabis use in a negative way. And that means, you know, you all really have to look into this. You can't just go about it like you are. You got to look into it. I take that as an insult, as if we haven't looked into it. So maybe I've been spending too much time looking into the functions of the endocannabinoid system that we all have in our bodies that have receptors to regulate things within our internal organs. Now, Gerald Cardinale should know what that means. We need to have a discussion with him. I have my ways. We'll either be able to force it or show with great drama that he is so afraid of having a conversation about this that he refuses, and the next time he has anything to say, we'll be there, and nobody will listen to him because he will not have the courage of his convictions. All he has to do, what I don't like about Senator Cardinale was that he was against Laura and Roger Barber having their daughter be able to have her medicine on school grounds. And he was against it. And he spoke against it on the floor. In committee.
I am very interested to know how much money from the pharmaceutical industry he takes in every year.
Yeah, you know, I am too, but people are almost immune to that. When you start messing with somebody more personally, you know, it's almost, some people even forget, that's the way it is, money. We follow the money.
Is it his
No,
mind because he's
listen,
old,
let me-
or
let
is it
me-
because he's paid to think that way?
Let me continue where we were going with the Laura and Roger Barber is. I made a public service announcement sort of thing out in front of the State House, a recording, inviting the senator to take up Roger and Laura on their offer when they heard what he had to say. What they offered was that he should come to our house, have dinner with us and our family, and tell us what he has to say, and we can discuss it. He did, it was emailed to him. It was definitely made available to him, and he never responded.
Of course not.
So now he's back now, but if you look back at things the late, great Cheryl Miller did in Washington and looked up stuff in the 2000s, you'll see no more hit and run, peppered through everything that we talked about. That was if you are a legislator or anybody and you have something to say about an issue like this that will affect the outcome, could affect the outcome. I'm not talking about your man on the street. That's an opinion. People who are playing the game here to get it to not happen or to not be what it needs to be, that they, it's not a choice for them to display the courage of their convictions and have that discussion with somebody. It's not a choice. We let it be a choice because they hit and run and we don't chase. We don't. Well, I'm done with that.
I agree.
You know, I mean, I'm not. No, like I used to be done with that, and I feel like, yeah, when it was more personal with Cheryl, you know, I would do these things, and now I'm feeling a little like maybe I'm not keeping my eye on the prize. It's just as important. It's more important than it ever was for her. It doesn't concern Cheryl now. It concerns what she would call all the other Cheryl and Jims, and I feel like we really need to step it up now when we have the momentum, and be a little more organized when we can, be a little more Republican at times, you know. That's our weak suit, our strong suit and our weak suit come from the same place. People who consume cannabis, they look for the third option. They don't just think it has to be left or right or straight. There's other options, and we try to find them when the ones in front of us are not good enough. Being said, we're more like cats than dogs. You know, you can get a bunch of dogs go one direction. It's hard to get a bunch of cats go one direction. That's not what they do, and that's kind of not what we traditionally do. But at times, if we can recognize why that works for people to act as a block and come to a consensus and then be public about that, it'll help us. It'll give us a little advantage. And the Coalition for Medical Marijuana wrestles with that because we individually have different feelings about different regulations, but we have to come up with a consensus and stick by it, and we do, and we don't say who voted which way on things, but we do that because we have more power that way than being undecided or wishy-washy about something. So sometimes I take heat for a coalition tack, and I'm not really the one on board, and I can't say. But almost always, though, we do agree. So, of course, some of us wear suits and ties, and we're all kind of old, so we're a little more able to team play or whatever. I was not quite the same team player 40 years ago. It's all about me then. That's all about me still, but I'm better not making it so obvious. So, yeah, big week. A lot of news today in the Courier Post. Their view, their editorial was lighting up on pot, and it went hand in hand with the article about what's going on with legalization. So we need some direction. We're finding a little bit now. It all seems to be about home grow not being in provisions. A lot of people are worried about if cannabis becomes legal and New Jersey starts to realize 300 million, some of that 300 million is going to come from money that they wouldn't have gotten, they feel, if they allow home grow. Tony, what would you pay to grow a plant? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to get a feel for, in other words, if somebody said you can grow 3 plants and it's going to cost you so much per plant, no particular supervision, no infringement, just it's a transaction to grow a plant, what would that be worth to you to do where it was certainly going to be less expensive, you could grow what you
I
wanted?
mean, right now it would be priceless.
Yeah.
But I would be
Okay.
very willing to pay like a $10 per seed tax, something like that. I mean, the seed tax I think makes a lot
No,
of sense.
what I'm saying is if you were, okay, well, you could pay $10 seed tax for probably a $10 seed, you know, or clone. Right now, if somebody said to me, Jim, you can get an exemption for $125 to grow one plant in your garden. You know how quick I'd come up with
I
that.
would absolutely do it.
So I'm trying to put what is the price that's not too much, but it's not too little for them if it was to be done like that, because I want to protect home grow.
I said I would pay a $100 seed tax, and I got yelled at because they didn't want me to give the government any ideas.
Right,
So I
well,
lower it down to a
no,
$10
well,
seed
okay, well,
tax.
you know what? Maybe we need to give them a few ideas. Let's look at it from the opposite direction. Is we need to give them better ideas than they have right now. We may be having some technical difficulties.
Don't mind me, guys.
All right, I'm just making sure I can help it.
Nah.
Are we on?
Nothing you could do.
Are we on live worldwide?
Yeah, we're on live. We're just having some issues. We're good.
We're glitchy.
No, yeah.
Well, we're not good then. We're okay.
I'm working on it.
We're okay.
I got
at
it.
this. We're fine.
I'm like Scotty in the engineer room. I got it, Captain.
Beam us up. Beamer. Yeah, a $100 seed tax, if you grew a large plant in your backyard, would absolutely be worth it. If you were growing one small plant in your house, then no, it wouldn't be worth it.
No.
$10.
But if you're okay, but if you're growing a plant in your house, you could grow a plant where you don't top it, you don't trim it. You move, it grows right up towards the light, and it gets to be about 6 feet and real wispy, you know, and you can bend it over. So you stake it over in an arc, gently, you know, and then you top it. And then instead of branches growing out, they grow up. And it looks like a bunch of plants in a row or something, but it's one plant. So somebody could come and say, and see like 8 feet worth of plants growing up and out, because likewise,
one root ball.
when you can't do that outdoors because the season's only so long, you can make that season as long as you want with a 24-hour light cycle to do that. And don't start the vegetative light cycle until you're ready to vegetate. Oh no, I just gave away the secret. Oh man.
Opacite.
Don't worry, nobody's going to watch this.
Yeah, we have no ratings.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting election season, and while the Coalition for Medical Marijuana has to be very careful about not appearing to endorse any candidates, we can be very specific about
Alonso.
well, we could be very specific about their policies. It's kind of like when I write a letter to the editor or something, I don't call a guy, okay, because we're public, I don't call him an ass. I write something. When somebody reads it, they're done and they go, what an ass. You know, that's the job. So, you know, I think that we're right. We don't have to be loud at times, just like smile and your turn. But we need a seat at the table. We need to be able to have that discussion with people like an 83-year-old senator being able to outrun us metaphorically and keep his distance. You know, it's like an 83-year-old man saying, nah, you can't catch me. But we can. He has an office, he has a home. I pick a congressman where he lives. Don't think I won't pick a senator where he lives either. I will.
The way he continuously kept talking about how cannabis causes brain damage was, it was really I had to leave. Actually, you had to get up and walk out of the side of that.
Now let me ask you, is it true that Senator Scutari at one point sort of cut him off?
He did. I was there. I saw it.
Describe that a little bit, if you would.
At some point, Cardinale had been, carrying on with his brain damage issue. And at one point, Senator Scutari just was like, we've been through this. I can't quote his words. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Paraphrase is good.
But he was like, we've been over this a couple times. This isn't even the question that we're talking about right now. And just kind of was like, let's move on. Next person. We got a long day ahead. We don't need to.
We don't need you.
It's on video.
We don't need you to die on us on the way.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, you never know.
People were getting aggravated though, because it was 2 minutes per speech, and then Cardinale would have a 27-minute question about brain damage.
Well, we need to address his concerns. We need to help him. We need to educate him. and it's not a matter of choice for him.
You know, and
It's
I haven't
mandatory.
read that. I haven't read that study in quite a while that he was referring to. But if I remember correctly, the whole point was that there was changes in the brain chemistry of
Yeah.
people using cannabis. It wasn't brain damage.
We got a weapon. We got a weapon for him anytime we want. His name is Peter Rosenfeld. If he was here right now, he would start telling you about the brain chemistry and all that stuff. I mean, not because he was a brain chemist guy, but he's a rocket scientist. And I am very impressed by how pragmatically he can lay something out on a level that you cannot talk above his head. It is impossible. No matter who you are, what your position is, or what you do for a living, he is our man when it comes to that. So I would love to hear the conversation between Gerald Cardinale and Peter Rosenfeld. Not me, not Lefty. Yeah, you know, and
Let me play devil's advocate here for a minute.
sure.
There's a drug called Cymbalta that alters brain chemistry. Made me actually try to commit suicide several times. I would say that actually caused brain damage on me. Cannabis, not brain damage.
It's a good point, Tony. Sometimes he didn't. Did it change it in a bad way?
The Cymbalta?
No, the cannabis.
No, the cannabis actually.
I mean, when he says it changed
improved
brain chemistry, what is that? That could be a good thing.
The Cymbalta gave me seizures and suicidal tendencies till I was in bed for 3 years with daily migraines. The cannabis changed my brain chemistry to be able to be here, sitting here, talking with you.
And you know,
Yeah, what is it, Chantix? The commercial side effects may cause thoughts of suicide, but that's legal.
Yeah, illegal.
call your doctor
Safe.
if you feel like
FDA
killing
safe.
yourself.
Yeah.
Family friendly.
FDA approved.
That's real stuff too. There's a lot of people that
Well,
have this too.
I'm a timer when a commercial comes on for medication. I assume it's going to be a minute commercial, and I've seen as many as 38 seconds of that. Chemicals. It goes on forever. And then the guy takes a breath. Tell your doctor if you have ever. So if the warning takes longer than the benefits to explain, maybe, maybe that's worth recognizing. And,
Suicidal ideation, anal leakage, and death. Those are my favorite.
I got to tell you right now, that we can say that doesn't mean we should. That we're allowed to
Those
say.
are the side effects of most pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah, man, I can't get that out of my head, Tony.
It's a special just for you. Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to joke. It's my nature.
No,
and
that's good. We have to laugh.
yeah, but
sometimes.
I have to also be cognizant to somebody who something I might be making a joke about. If it affects them, it might not be so funny. So.
Oh, I guess that is true.
Got one kick in the butt coming from somebody probably, and I'll bend over for it because I deserve it if that's the case.
Yeah,
However,
I'll take it.
you know who deserves a big kick in the butt? Down the block. Our governor saying that we don't want to legalize marijuana because we're in the midst of an opioid epidemic.
It would be the exact reason to do it.
And that's what we're talking about. Now, if we were at a one-on-one discussion and he said that, and we in the shortest of versions cited the American Medical Association's finding about the 24.8% reduction in the overdose death rate through opiates, both illegal and legal in states that had enacted medical marijuana laws which allowed you to get cannabis if you were also using opiates. That's when people did. They tried the opiates first, didn't work, tried the cannabis, kept the opioid use down. 24.8% less deaths, not more. So I'm just thinking logically, if it were legal, not just medicine, if it were legal and somebody got an opioid prescription, they could simply buy a small amount as an adult and use that as a supplement, keeping their opiate prescription down.
Or possibly never even going to fill the opiates.
Yeah, possibly that too. I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be a law against using a social product for medicine. I mean, it's, oh, you're not allowed to use that for medicine. It's not. We're in. And that would be the best thing that ever happened towards fighting the opioid epidemic, because when a panel of doctors and experts convened by the governor and the health department, the medical marijuana advisory panel, when they recommend this as an exit drug for opioid abuse, it's an official name, it's addiction.
Oh, opiate reduction therapy.
Opioid, that sounds really good. They recommended it. Now, the people that the governor and the health department accepted as who should do this, you know they're not putting them in that position to help us. If anything, they're putting them in that position to keep the regulations where they want. But these had to be the experts that they could find, and it's a fairly impressive resume these everybody had. They had a doctor no, as you know, one doctor that just said no for everything, and I echoed him on one.
That was excellent.
Yeah, when he came time for no, and I meant for it to be like so low nobody could hear it, but apparently somebody even up on the panel looked up and. But in my own defense, was I right? I could have saved him. I could have said, "May I do this vote for you, doctor?" No.
Yeah, it was not as quiet as you intended, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was right, so I think I get a free pass on that one. How is it that can be going on, and at the same time the governor can be publicly proclaiming that it would be a stupid thing to legalize cannabis because we have an opioid epidemic? I mean, how can that happen? How are we not able to combat that?
Because Governor Christie is doing us a great favor by proving just what a hypocrite our United States government and Trenton government is.
He's given us a lot of ammunition, saying things like that.
We have a medical-only cannabis program, but cannabis is a Schedule I drug with absolutely no medical value in the state of New Jersey and in the United States. How do you have the exact opposites in the same law?
We could go ask the Division of Consumer Affairs in New Jersey because they're the ones responsible for scheduling.
Maybe Lefty should call them this afternoon.
Well, it'd be kind of fun and all, but Ken Walskin, the before mentioned Peter Rosenfeld, went and had a meeting with him a couple of years ago about this, and it just still remains Schedule 1. So we have a medical marijuana law that the governor says is truly a medical program. That's why so few people are in it. That's why he was so tough getting the regulations enacted. He wanted to make sure that it was truly medicine and not just people with headaches were getting it and flying in from other states. He said the most bizarre things. Yeah. But all along he's insisting that meant that when we regulated our law, we had the most medical program in the country as the 14th program. We were more medical than the rest. Now, if he keeps saying that, then how can he accept the classification as no medical utility? It's calling him a liar.
Christie, hypocrite.
Ooh, that's pretty clever. I like that. It's a hypocrisy.
Yes. I don't know what else to say. It's a medical-only program, but it has no medical value. It's a medical-only program, but it has no medical value, and we'll put you into jail for it.
Hungry hypocrite.
Hungry hippo Christie.
Well, no, I mean, it is rather hypocritical that he calls it a medical program, but also accepts the Schedule 1 status where it's declared to not have medical value. So,
because they want their cake. He wanted nothing to do with the law, and he got forced into it, so he had to go with it's a medical-only program to be strict, and he screwed himself because now it's not Schedule 1.
You know, he had bigger ambitions than governor from the day he was, and I'm saying that in a bad way. I mean, that's ambition. That's good. It's good. It's good if you can get things done. I mean, it's an admirable quality if you don't run over people and overlap and get in their way. But in this case, he determined that to be a good Republican candidate, you have to be against marijuana. And having been a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor, all the more so.
I wonder how many lives he's ruined over cannabis.
Oh, at least a lot.
Because they're all going to come back and visit you someday, Christie.
I don't know. You know, I didn't know if I found it admirable or just plain telling. The first time it was several thousand people protesting. They filled up the entire street. They had stuff going on. I forget which union it was or what it was. And his reaction was, that's fine, that's their right. I just sat back, had a little piece of pizza and a little bit of something to drink, and I'm back to work. I don't care. He didn't care. It didn't matter. They had all those people coming out. We're more the type that would send in a few every day, all the time, than thousands all at once and disappear. And that always stuck with me. That's why this coming back thing sounded good when Jenny mentioned it. That maybe that would be a little more, they're here again. You know. And when I picketed at a congressman's house, just so you know, it can be done in extreme cases. Well, it can be done because they feel like it too. It was Congressman Frank Pallone. He lives at 1175 Ocean Avenue in Long Branch. That's 1175 Ocean Avenue in Long Branch. If you have a problem, say Jim sent you. It's 28 steps. It's a narrow property. If you're picketing back and forth, 28 steps each way. Turn away towards the road so they don't say he's looking in the windows. I don't even look at the house. You know, do not engage people when they pass by and give them room to pass. And I know for a fact that when the police come, you can assert your rights, and they actually won't arrest you.
It's certainly not illegal to walk back and forth on a sidewalk.
Well, in front of a congressman's house, the worry then was there's a newly installed Patriot Act a couple of years before, and people were thinking they're going to interpret that somehow. But I wasn't even being loud. And the sprinklers were turned on me. I went at night, in the evening. I walked with the late great Helen Miller's wheelchair to sign. Not about him, 26 miles from Seaside to Long Branch, like a stunt, a rather long, painful stunt.
Yeah, it is a long walk.
And then I arrived at his house where I changed the sign for "Here lives Congressman Frank Pallone. He died while my wife died," and I put that on the chair. And I was allowed to do that and did not see it. A police car went off for 4 hours, and then they came in SWAT style, different directions, gloves on, and, you know, said that I had to leave, and I said I have a right to be here. And then they said that, well, I can't see your signs, it's too dark, and they could fear for their, they don't need to do fear for their life and property or something. I thought that statute dog, fear for your life and property, isn't it? Have you heard that?
How many people walk past the house every day and they don't fear for their lives?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, no, this is a statute. I wanted to know what were you going to arrest me for, and they said that, and I thought, well, it sounds like you could make a go at that, so I told them I'm leaving, and they seemed happy till I said, tell them morning crew, I'm going to be back when it's light out. They will know what I'm doing. I'm going to be videoed from across the street, probably, mic'd for sound, so tell them to read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights in particular. They don't have to read long, it's the First Amendment. And the next morning, I did that for 3 hours. When I walked back, here's the satisfaction part. I can't park in front of his house. It's a main oceanfront road with just houses, nowhere to park. So I parked on a road that pulled away the other direction and had a walk up. I don't want to get out with "Here lives Frank Pallone" and put on. So I got the sign under my arm, and I'm pushing the chair, and I'm angling across the road to the house. And as I start, I look up and I see the Venetian blinds are all open. And I'm liking that. So I'm trying not to get hit and looking for traffic, and I get across, they're all closed. They were closed in about 45 seconds that it took me to angle crossing. I could just hear his wife sound going, "Frank, he's here, he's back, he's back." You know, and
Damn Jim Miller.
yeah, now they go to church about 9/10 of a mile north of that. And it was Sunday morning. And I was there from 9 o'clock until 12:30. They did not go to church that day because I was there.
Trapped in their house. Oh my God.
Yeah, and
So dangerous.
I got a picture of one of his neighbors pulling up and just giving me the finger, and all of a sudden,
Really, the neighbor
yeah,
did?
thanks for that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They were sticking up for their neighbor. But I think, as a congressman's point of view, would be they don't really want people to know where they live, and this is it. You know, it's on a.
What are they doing?
It's
They
an
should
egg-
be
it's an
afraid
egg
of the
throw.
people. Don't they work for we the people? Why
Oh.
are they afraid of we the people?
What planet are you from? Of course, they're you know, we the people. They don't respect that.
Devil's advocate, maybe.
Well, this is good because some of them, you know.
What are you doing in that building that makes you afraid of me? Because I am not scary.
You know, then they would say, well, why don't you let us record everything you do? If you're not doing anything wrong, what are you afraid of? Sounds I'm afraid to apply that baby there, you know?
They record everything I do, and I have nothing to hide.
Well, me neither. You know, and because there is no statute on what trouble is, so when somebody says you're in trouble, that's by their standards. Trouble's a state of mind. You can be incarcerated and not be in trouble if that's how you're dealing with it, and I know that for a fact. Not because of me, but, for a fact.
I go out and help everyone I can, and I don't hurt anyone. So if they can find a law I'm breaking, let me know.
Oh, they will. So, but, it's so, should we have a problem moving forward this year, and I think our rights are being infringed on, I'm a little more apt to keep finding ways to not escalate it, but get to the next step. And if it comes down to asserting your rights, and it's going to get you arrested, it's going to cost less than $500. And if you went to a newspaper and said, I'll pay you $500 to put an ad in to say something, it'd be a little tiny thing. If you pay $500 fine and give them a good story and a couple of pictures, it's a lot better.
If someone will pay my $500, I'll get naked and take a bath in the fountain. If it's going to do something.
I'll give you a buck not to.
Not
So we have to find somebody in Gerald Cardinale's district, because the first way to invite discourse with him is to have a constituent, preferably one who's never asked for an appointment from her senator's office, somebody who lives in Bloomingdale, Gloucester, Demarest, Dumont, Emerson, Harrington Park, Hilldale, Mawa, Montvale, Norwood, Oakland, Park Ridge, Old Town, Ramsey, Wingwood, Rivervale, Saddle River, Upper Saddle River, Washington, Inbergen, Westwood, and Woodcliff Lake. If you know anybody or anybody listening lives in those areas, what we need to do is have somebody that's a constituent write the letter asking for an appointment. So if he's willing to deny an appointment to a first-time request from a constituent, that shows that he doesn't believe some bullshit. Right there. If he says yes...
Not very public servant-like.
Well, the second step is go ahead and get the appointment. And you don't ask for it with him, you ask for it with a staffer. Then he's not too busy because you know you're busy. We want to talk to somebody on your staff who can accurately represent our concerns to you. And they don't even have to tell us anything. We just want to make sure that it's understood in person. And it's not always, it's clear from my dealings with legislators when I write an email, the answer doesn't deal with what I was asking. They answer what they feel like. That's a lot harder to do in person because you can just say,
They divert the question.
Right. And now that's okay in an email, they're going to wear you down. But what happens in a personal meeting, you can't do that, even with a staffer. So then, of course, the additional request to bring a member of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, a board member, to make sure that discussion stays on track and isn't prone to somebody making statements that might not be true, or if the senator's staff asks questions, it would be nice to have somebody right there who already had the answer with you. Bring your own answer machine. Right, Peter Rosenthal, answer machine, let him go. And then let the discussion proceed. And why would somebody not want a discussion like that recorded, do you think? I swear to God, I've never had, may I turn the recorder on, and had the answer be yes. They were getting an admirer looking at our cameraman, which nobody can see because he has the camera in his mouth. He's moderately life-size looking thing you might find in a riding fun house, going with lights in his eyes or
And
something.
he's hung like a horse.
Camera in
He
his
is hung
mouth.
like a horse.
Yeah, and Lefty dressed him up, or down, I should say, so.
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. So we're on live worldwide at the moment here, bringing the medical marijuana concerns of patients in New Jersey to the forefront as best we can. If we had a seat at the table, if we just said to somebody, we'd like to discuss this on record, and they said, come on. Or the panel was doing a discussion on something. we should be invited to the table. The reason we aren't, and I got this one figured out all by myself, what they can say is when evidence stares them in the face, like basically when the American Cancer Society says, oh my God, cannabis is good for cancer. You know what legislators are going to say? Well, I didn't know that. Because there's no real record of them having such discussions. So it's called plausible deniability. They want to be able to deny they knew that was the case. They sit us down at the table.
They don't want any record that contradicts
Yeah.
anything that they do or say.
You could say, I'm sorry, we had a discussion on that. Here's my notes. You have to say notes because they wouldn't let you record it. That's pretty much for plausible deniability. What I would call the Ronald Reagan defense. I can't recall. And you know, you can't say somebody's lying when they say they can't remember. It's up to them. So at least I think so, but I can't remember.
I just saw that with Jeff Sessions in his testimony.
Yes, that's true. He said that a few times.
Yes, he did.
It seems to me that if he can't remember that, there should be other things he can't remember, and obviously he can't tell us what they are because, once again, he can't remember. So if he's missing some of those simple things like whether or not, was it he or somebody met with somebody and forgot if it was 2 or 3 times. I mean, there was a Russian connection, so it wasn't like some guy, I don't remember how many times. I'd like to hope he would remember, or at least have notes somewhere to refer to. I wish I could get away with stuff like that.
Well, I think politicians should have to wear body cameras just like police do.
That's an interesting concept.
We got a lot of corruption going on. It's time to, everyone wants corruption ended, and it seems like a, logical.
That's an interesting concept, except for right now we're having healthcare written and designed by one party without the other party knowing what's about to come out. Being told they're going to have adequate time to review it, and nobody says, what is adequate? You know, I mean, I'm just saying it's all, we don't like that. And I would be what conversation wouldn't you have, let me ask, if you have a stated conviction? I mean, I don't really have strong feelings on a lot of things, but if somebody caught me and I had, what do you think about gun control or abortion or something? You know, I suppose I could say, but I wouldn't refuse to. If I went and said something about it publicly and somebody challenged me, I wouldn't have the right to refuse to say, well, I was spouting some sort of nonsense. And that's just what we run up against all the time. It's not fair, man. Hear that a lot. It's not fair. Well, we got to get used to it. It's never been fair. It's not fair. It's never going to be fair. Occasionally, though, we have the chance to be not fair. As in when I picketed at a congressman's house, that wasn't really fair to him. It wasn't fair to his family, but I wanted to hold them hostage, too. I wanted his actions to come back and affect him in his home, because his actions were affecting me in my home, and that was the whole reason for doing that. Daniel Brady. What's going on, Daniel? Long-time supporter, veteran from back in the 60s. When were you, when did you, enlist?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah, well, I had to
What
get
year?
out of, that was so I wouldn't get drafted and put in the infantry, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enlisted, spent a year in Germany,
What year, though? I'm just wondering.
in 65.
Oh.
66.
You have, it seems to be, top longevity veteran status of the people that advocate here, so good for you, man.
Yeah, 50. 50 years since I
Yeah.
signed up, yeah.
More than that, even. You were in a couple of years 50 years ago.
Yeah, I got a year in Germany and a year in Vietnam.
Well, it's veterans supporting issues, especially the affected veterans, that made it real easy to, not easy because it's never easy, but made it possible to get post-traumatic stress disorder added to our list of indications.
You know, Jim, we didn't even have, there wasn't anything called PTSD for the Vietnam.
Shell shock.
For the Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
And our most popular form of death after returning to the States was accidents. we had a lot of accidents. I looked up some of the guys in my unit after I got home for about 5 years, and
How do you know there were accidents?
and they were dead, about half.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that
5 years after
it's no secret that there's a lot of suicide from post-traumatic stress. So if you're on your bike going 110 and it goes off the road, it's an accident. Not necessarily. You know, you fall off a ledge, they're going to think maybe that was somebody, but there's a lot of it was just steering off into the woods or just such hard living that you killed yourself that way. So, you know, it's,
They're drinking themselves to death.
and,
It didn't work in my case, though. It didn't work. I tried, but I partied hard, you know.
yeah. And here we are 50 years later. Well, it didn't kill you. It's an active day in Trenton today. There's a lot going on today. This is kind of nice to be here once a week. Get our own little tent top, a little bit of shade.
By the way, Jim, do you see that black car out there?
Yes, there's a black car out there.
And it's an unmarked Stadies car. I saw the hat sitting under the windshield. The license plate is also.
They're all around. There's I don't know if there's something in particular going on or it's just a lot of different things, but when I picked up the permit, instead of 2 police down there, there was a dozen police kind of gathering. Wearing the colors, man. We got some coalition shirts out here today.
How are you going? You just get here. I just got here pretty much.
So we're Lefty's Indisposed, the podcast. The reason we are here, the reason that we get to do this, he's what some people say is lucky because he's a patient. He's not lucky because he's laying on that. You don't have to come back, bro. I can bore him all by myself. I don't need you for that.
I'm not feeling well.
Yeah, I know it. We've already fulfilled our podcast duty by showing up. If you're having an issue, we don't need to stay.
No, I'm good. I'm actually enjoying this very much. I'm enjoying listening to you guys. I just can't. I have to do it.
No,
laying
well,
down.
you can just go ahead and lay down there.
Yeah.
You can take the mic with you, the earphones.
Actually, I could probably do that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, why not? Get on the table.
I do have a phone number to call if you'd like to me to contribute.
You know, I'm 50-50 on the if you like part. Who is it?
Kim Guacamole.
What are you going to ask?
That's what I'm going to say.
Lieutenant Governor. No, don't be,
Let's discuss this. What should we ask her? What do we do?
Okay, I would like to say we appreciate your stated support for decriminalization. Why haven't you stated it before? And would you be willing to sign a decrim bill if the governor goes out of state and you have the power to do so when he's gone? All right?
Okay.
I mean, that's the way government works here. She has that power. And a lot of times, and I believe she probably has signed bills that he would sign anyway, just, to use the power of the office to keep it functioning. But there could be a decrim bill passed. The only reason really being seriously considered is because the governor would not sign it. But what if the lieutenant governor would sign it? Wouldn't it make sense to get a bill sent to the governor's desk that if he goes out of town, which he might do, that she could sign it? This would be campaigning for her because she wants to distance herself from the governor. I think it's a reasonable request. Would she sign a decrim bill if it was sitting on the governor's desk and he went out of town? Would she sign it while he's out of town? That would show support.
All right.
That's a reasonable request, I think.
Okay, this is
Guadagno, say it.
guacamole.
Guadagno.
Guacamole. All right.
Oh, doesn't she? That's part of her flag. Is that she wants to decriminalize marijuana?
No, well, she said she doesn't support legalization at this point, but that she does support decriminalization. So if she's saying she supports, and you know what else she supports? The medical law. She supports it being made better. Why isn't she here helping us? If she supports it, we offer her a venue, don't we? So how can we understand her support for medical when she didn't even come by and say hi when we were in front of the State House? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We were doing a podcast. She was right there. We talked to her. You said, I'd vote for you. You know, we were very laudatory. And she didn't come by to say anything. So,
What about
gotta
custard pies, Jim? Can we throw custard pies at politicians?
well, there's a man
Like Soupy
there-
Sales,
okay,
remember?
there's a man named Aaron Kay. He's called the Pie Man because that's what he used to do in Washington all the time, you know. He got one in a senator's face, I believe. I mean, an actual senator during a hearing. Been done, Dan.
I don't know. To me personally, at this point, just being pro decriminalization, but saying at this time you're not supporting full legalization. To me personally, that's not enough.
No, of course it's
Especially-
not enough.
It's definitely not enough. At
Well,
this point.
no, it is enough. But you
In
if-
2017, not
she-
enough.
Right, but that's not enough. But then if you say that's not enough, what's the rest of the discussion? It's over. Why would you end that discussion when you can say thank you for your support? Now let's do something with it. In other
Thank you
words-
for supporting
okay.
that, but I think I'll support your opponent who supports full legalization at this time. Sure, her stance is significantly better than our current governor.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just talking about in negotiations. It's sort of like you want to bring them in. I agree with you. It's not. Of course, it's not enough. How can it be? It's a plant that could help everybody with so many things. But you want to, when she throws down like that, you want to go her way. You know what I mean? You want to do that. It's almost like somebody pulling you towards them to throw you down, and you come by them and you're going down, but now you got the power to bring them. You know, monkey flip them like when you were kids. You know, with your feet. So you hit the ground first, and they flew furthest. That's kind of the goal with her, I think. And
Oh,
that
I'm not saying
if
don't
she
talk
says,
to her,
okay,
'cause you should,
I
if she lets
support.
you.
I support decriminalization. A good question will be, how do you show that support? How has
That is a great question.
how have you ever shown that support? Because you support things that you've stated your support. I've read about them in the newspaper. I know things you support.
Also,
But-
she didn't. She says she supports the medical program. She wasn't out there saying. She wasn't saying that until this year.
Okay, that's my question. See, then the good question be, thank you. How have you shown that support? Because we've been out here every week, and when you were in front of, it was this year, I believe, earlier, if I'm not mistaken, that she was alongside us, she out in front of the State House, talking to Bill Caruso.
Okay.
And I didn't know it was Bill because his back was to us. And I looked up and said through the microphone, "Is that Lieutenant Governor Kim Godak?" Oh, that's great. And then we were saying how we liked her much better than Christie and hoped he'd leave because, you know, she'd probably be better. Things like that. But she didn't come over to say, oh, the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization in the good standing of New Jersey for 10 years. Thank you for supporting this. I support it too. She didn't do that. She didn't come over and say hi. She didn't come over. We're supporting it. She says she supports it, but so I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
It's a convenient thing to say.
Over
You know,
the
peop-
last 7.5 years, what medical conditions did you support
Yeah,
adding to
and
the
how, right.
program?
Yeah, and how did you speak up? Did you
Yeah.
talk? Did you ever talk to the governor about your support? And if so, what did he say? These are questions, but she can just make that remark and then not have to follow it up.
mean-
So if we were going to talk to, well, it wouldn't be her, it'd be somebody on staff and say, we'd like to have a meeting. We're the Coalition for Medical Marijuana. We're the Sativa Cross podcast that sticks up for medical marijuana every week, and we understand she supports medical marijuana. Well, it seems like we should team up. We'd like to talk to her about that.
I would love to talk to her about it. I'm not saying don't talk to her. If she lets you talk to her, I think that would be a wonderful opportunity if she gave that. But I have a
I'm
feeling
not going
she's
to
not
use the
going to give it.
Yeah, but if she did, I'm not going to ever mention all things I don't like about her while she's helping us. But when we don't get enough help and we get a couple of, she's not going to help us. That's the whole point. I don't want her to have a leg to stand on other than Well, she said she supports it. When she got the chance to actually show that support, she didn't do anything. You know what you always hear? You see people with little ribbons, I support the troops. How? I always wonder, how? Do you really? Because I'm betting you 3 out of 4 people that put I support the troops don't act. What do they do? I'm not
It's
talking
so
about, I'm not
easy for
talking
a
about buy a
politician to say
flag or something, you know, and the money goes. You know, support for troops is like supporting them when they're veterans as well, or when they're here, or supporting them while they're deployed, you know.
Let's find out how much she supports us. Here we go.
Well, find out.
I heard she picks up this line too. I think this is a personal line. I was given some intel.
Okay, well, no, before you,
There you go.
before you call,
All right.
work on me like suppose she just picked up. Hello, what are you going to say? I want to hear your take.
Hi, Kim. This is Lefty Grimes from the Sativa Cross Podcast. We're out here in the annex every Thursday. You've seen us. You've sat here and talked to us before.
No, she hasn't. She hasn't talked to us.
She talked to you
She's
one day.
seen us.
She did talk
The
to us.
word
She
is
talked to
seen
you.
us.
You talked to her outside the podcast for about 10 minutes one day last year.
But she's never
No,
sat down
I would
here.
talk to her from the podcast in front of the State House, but she didn't come over to the podcast.
No, but you talked to her at the
I
podcast.
talked at her.
Oh, really? She didn't respond?
No.
Really?
No, I would know that.
See, there's another reason
No,
why.
no
she's
response.
okay,
not
she
good
was
enough.
talking to Bill Caruso.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can tell you were talking to Bill Caruso out in
Okay.
front of the State House.
All right.
And we're having a podcast right there, and we're commenting how we'd rather have you helping us with medical marijuana than the governor. And you were saying I'd vote for you rather than him because we'd get more help from you
Yeah.
with medical marijuana. And that she didn't come over and say hi. You know, she didn't say, how could I help you because I support this. She didn't even give us a thumbs up. She was talking to Bill. She smiled. She knew we were talking about her. We were being nice about it. But now that she's saying that she supports medical marijuana, we don't know what that means. And we need support.
Okay.
And we're not getting it. So, you know, it's a logical question. Will she help do something? I mean, what I'd like to say is that if she says decrim's a good idea and she could support that, can she sign a bill into law when the governor is out of state? And would she do so for a decrim bill that the governor would not sign?
It'd be a neat step, too, you know, before
Yeah.
legalization.
Yeah, but it's a good question because where's her room to dance on that? Yes, she can sign bills into law when the governor's out of state and officially hands over power to her if he's out for a long enough time. So while she has that power, in the past, of course, she's not going to be going signing things, but she wants to distance herself from him now. She wants to be her own person. And the question would be, is as long as you have the right, when he's out of state under certain conditions, to sign a bill into law, would you sign a good decrim bill into law when he's out of state? That's all. How about that? What do you think? I think we got one.
Okay.
We got a winner.
All right. Kim Guadagno. Here we go. This should be interesting. I hope my phone works.
If you want, you can get to that right point and go, let my broadcast mate, Jim, lay it out. And I'll lay that out. I don't like having the actual conversation, but I don't mind being the deliverer of information. I could say it in an automated voice, too, if you want.
It is possible for you to sign a bill into law. Would you do so when the governor is out of state if it was a decriminalization bill?
Okay, that's not all that good.
No, that sounded awful.
I gave it a shot.
You sounded
know?
like a computerized answering machine.
Well, that's what I was trying to sound like. You know, that's who I want to be, you know?
Hello, Governor. This is Froggy.
Number is 609-777-2581. Again, it's Kim Guadagno. Leave a message, send me a text, or call my office. 609-777-2581. Thank you so much.
Please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hello, Lieutenant Governor Guadagno. This is Jim Miller, co-founder of the 501c3 Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey. We're pleased to hear about your support for decriminalization and wanted to know if a bill was sitting on the governor's desk for decriminalization that he would not sign, would you sign the bill when he was out of state when you have the power to do so? because that would be a good way to basically show the courage of that conviction, and also that you mean what you say. We appreciate it. So you can get back in touch with me on my cell phone, 908-278-4172, or leave an answer through the Coalition for Medical Marijuana website, cmmnj.org. Thank you very much. Okay.
And Kim, my number, this is Lefty Grimes. My number is 908-616-0682. We do have the podcast out here, and we'd love to speak to you on the air about these issues. This is very important issues for New Jersey.
We did have a chance to talk. We did have a chance to talk to you, or more at you, when you were out in front of the State House and we were podcasting. You were talking to one of my great friends, Bill Caruso, and we were a little disappointed you didn't come over and say hi. But we're out in front of the State Annex right now, and we are here on Thursdays. We'd love for you to come by and see where you stand on these issues.
Thank you, Kim. All right, my audio wasn't working, but we had to work around. We got it working. That worked.
Yeah, so that's good.
Jim,
It's a reasonable
good job. Thank you.
thing, you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
How long have we been supporting full legalization?
Since 2014, the Coalition for Medical Marijuana was formed to not have any real ties to general legalization, because it kept being, well, you want it to be legal for everybody. And it made it harder to have the discussion. So we said, let's form a strictly medical organization advocating for medical use. And we did. But then we realized, after 4 years of having a law, at that time there was maybe 5,000 patients.
Out of 9 million residents.
Yeah. And, you know, the estimates could go between 125 and 350,000, and even that might be low, who would be patients by other state
I
standards.
could be a patient if there were more.
By other state standards, there'd be that many. So the quandary was, what were our aspirations at that point? If there was, say, 250,000, it could be, should be, more even, and we had 5,000, we'd be pretty happy doubling it to 10 and doubling it to 20, doubling it to 40. And that could take years.
But we're only going to achieve that with further legislative
and then suppose we got all the way to 200,000 and there was only 50,000 people suffering we couldn't help. How do we tell them this is where we quit? How do we say, sorry, it's taken this long, when legalization would be the only way that all adult patients
could have access
to cannabis as medicine? So basically, the Governor Christie's regulations that his administration put forth, he did so saying it was to make it as medical of a law as possible, when really he wanted to keep the patient enrollment as low as possible. So he's gone soon.
Thankfully.
And he got us, though, in his time here, to change our mission statement of an organization. The reason I took part in was because this was formed before the late great Cheryl Miller died. And it was pretty much because of her that I wanted to have this going. And so she saw it start before she passed on. And it's not enough. It's just not enough.
It's not
and
enough.
You know, thing is, Eric, it's never going to be enough. It's just, nothing ever is. It's just that at some point, when enough people do have something and some don't, there's enough people that can take up the slack to help them get it, other than us, perhaps. We're like the initial force that hits, you know. We're not necessarily the best at getting it all the way done and crossing the T's and dotting the I's. But we're the team that comes out and does this, and hopefully opens the discussion to being a little more public. And this year is going to be a little different because
this is a crucial year, very crucial year right now.
And can you believe this is the most crucial year, and the construction that's about to start at the State House means we're at the annex. But it means that for the last 3 years we've been doing this, before this year, we could be in front of the State House, next door over here in front of the Annex, which is a really beautiful place to be.
Oh, I think it's beautiful here with the fountain and everything. It's great.
And we could be across the street from the State House at the War Memorial, the actual memorial. So there were 3 places to gather and redress your grievances to the center of the government of state. And now there's only one, which means the competition, we can't be here necessarily on Thursday. Somebody else might be here on Thursday. We can't be there or there, so there's only one place, and now we're having a problem because the governor's office is down the block. We're not allowed to be down there, so we cannot. We saw the governor, Philippe Dumais, board member of Coalition for Medical Marijuana. Not wearing his colors today, but looking pretty sharp as always. How are you, Philippe? Grab a mic there and put that on, and I'll come over and be producer. Do you have anything on the audio?
Yes, I do.
All right, good.
How you doing, Mr. Miller? Good morning.
The real answer is I've been better. I'm still having some throat issues, and
you're here though. You made it all the way here,
and I'm not feeling that good and all. But you already know what I'm talking about. How can I not be here if I'm not feeling really good? Because I'm trying to represent people that are so much worse than I am right now. It just doesn't seem right to say, sorry, I couldn't make it. I was having a bit of a throat issue, to somebody who's having a bit of a living issue. It's this week on Monday when we were out by the road in the sun, Lefty couldn't go on, and he had to come up and put the heating pad on it, and he's having a really hard time today. Then there was a point where I couldn't because I was doing that as I'm starting to do now because of the throat issue. And I had to lay down and get in air conditioning and rest. So between the two of us, we're barely making it through Monday. And I'm just hoping that there might be the perception that we're not going to quit. We come every week, and if we're sick, we're probably coming too. And if it rains, we've never been rained out, not once. We've been rained on, but not rained out. So it's sort of a little free-flowing podcast today with Lefty being a little bit indisposed. Is there anything you want to talk about cannabis related? Because you and me, we can talk about it all.
I heard there was a meeting yesterday with some big leagues.
A meeting with
from cannabis business. Some cannabis business meeting yesterday. I don't know.
No, I don't know anything about that. I'm not in that circle.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be in that circle either. I heard there was just a shit. What's the word? A proper word I'm looking for? A shit show. Like people was just talking about a lot of stuff that I didn't really know about, throwing money out there. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I just heard about it.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the turf, I guess. It's the best we can hope for is to try to develop a symbiotic relationship with somebody who's in a position to actually take advantage of riding this wave, because that's just what's going to be happening. Oh, we got signs blowing around. I had no tape today. It was just a pretty rushed job this morning. There's Daniel Brady, though. He's going to help pick up those signs over there that just blew over. I appreciate that.
Yes, he is. It was still done properly, though. I feel like Torres,
It's very so.
I think New Jersey should be on the path how Boston is doing stuff.
What's going on in Boston? I mean, how does it work?
I mean, they're still pushing corporate back, to my knowledge.
Okay, when they passed in Massachusetts, they legalized cannabis for adults last year.
Yes.
And what's the situation?
During the election, yes.
So what is the situation there right now? Is it being bought and sold, grown, dispersed? What's going on?
Right now, they're actually trying to enforce home grow and trying to get the little people out there. I think Torres, in the beginning of 2018, that's when they were supposed to have, corporate coming through. So as dispensary, people that already own dispensary, they turn that dispensary into recreational. But what they did is they're actually doing it in the middle of 2018. So they're trying to give the little people a chance. So they're not going through the headache that we're going through.
Now, when you say give the little people a chance to grow their own home cultivation.
Yes.
And when corporate comes in, that doesn't take away that right.
No.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, because as we know, there's people who will not grow their own. people who can't grow their own, people who don't smoke enough to grow their own, and they're going to want to buy it somewhere. So I think you're right then about we might want to more follow that model than this. You were at the Senate hearing where these things were discussed, a bit of it, on Monday. Did this come up? Any comparisons to Massachusetts?
Oh, no, of course not. And on top of that, too, like, the other reason why they didn't come out, because a lot of people didn't really get a chance to speak. Corporate was around.
Yeah, well, corporate and Gerald Cardinale. Hold on a second. Daniel Brady, calling Daniel Brady. You're right by a speaker, Daniel. How can you not hear me? Your head's 2 inches away.
We got a message from Ken Guadagno.
Okay, what's Kim say?
Message broken up. Policy question? Send to campaign. DHUGUENEL @gmail. Thank you. We have to call back.
No, just keep that there. That's fine. That's fine for a step.
Step one.
How many times did you call Senator Cruz Perez in a row?
20.
How many times did you call in a row? It wasn't 20. Come on.
In a row.
Come on, Lefty.
That's six.
Be honest.
That's
Six.
I
Yeah.
think.
No, I'm just saying 6 is a lot. When you say 20, somebody's going to think once or twice. I want you to get credit for 6 weeks in a row. You called up to the point where the aforementioned Bill Caruso, who does know these people and talks to them, said they were a little worried about that, you know. And I think it was just because, well, you know, we were pushing pretty good. But what was the result? On the 14th of November, shortly after that, she posted that bill that we needed her to post.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Senator Cruz Perez.
Yes, she's. We don't mean to push people who are working with us, but we are quite clear with them that we can't afford not to push them if we're going the same way. It's not personal enough, maybe, for them that we can bring the personal to them and say, actually, getting it done, anything done one day quicker, getting somebody the relief one day quicker. You know how long a day is when you don't have relief?
A lot.
Yeah, a long, long time. Or a night, or when you can't sleep, or when you have breakthrough pain in the middle of the night from other medications that wear all, you know. It's. I just don't feel the urgency sometimes, and maybe it's because so many states are going legal. People forget that there's still a lot of people that need this, that are in different kinds of pain in varying amounts, and some more than I could possibly bear myself.
Hello. Oh, Jim, you're forgetting about the musicians and the writers. They have a pressing need for marijuana too.
Well, you know who has a need for cannabis is our best computer hackers in the country. The FBI had to change their hiring practices to allow people who were either not fully fledged agents or a different kind of agent. They have to change their policy because the best hackers that they wanted to hire would fail. The first question they ask is about using a Schedule I substance. And if they were going to be honest, and you'd really want to be honest with them when you're getting your employment, look how that worked out for people like General Flynn. If you're not, it doesn't last. So I like that they, part of it almost worries me that means they must recognize how important this is to the point where they are willing to allow people to be employed by the FBI who have admitted using Schedule I substances. Their function must be incredibly important. So apparently the best hackers use cannabis according to the FBI.
Or they just probably then just have a choice, You know the phrase was like it's either get down or lay down. The FBI decided to get down.
Yeah.
I mean, like if the best hackers in the world decides, first of all, the FBI needs them. They don't need the FBI.
Yeah.
So truth be told, if I'm gonna continue smoking weed and you're gonna force me to work with you you, look, I'm gonna continue smoking my marijuana and my cannabis. So at the end of the day, I feel like the FBI got down instead of they couldn't do anything about it.
I appreciate because the results of not getting the best when you could be terrible. I mean, you don't want to have something happen and say, if we just had better hackers, but we couldn't hire them. So, I suppose there's some sort of hope there. We got the American Medical Association saying some decent things, the FBI admitting that it really not only doesn't inhibit them from doing that, but it seems that people who aren't as good at it.
without it.
Yeah. I want to be safe. I don't care who saves me, and as long as I'm not going to hurt anybody doing it. I'm not talking about it. Strong arm.
I was talking the other day with somebody, and I remember a study I read about.
That's vague. Who are you talking to, Daniel? That just sounds like a comedian. You know, the other day, I want to know the truth. Who are you talking to?
Who?
Man on the street?
No, Ken.
Okay.
And what was I going to say, though?
You were talking to somebody the other day, and
it stopped right there.
Who are you talking to?
may I just say that this is a disclaimer. This is not because Daniel's stoned. It's because he's very, very old.
Yeah. I'm 70.
You're 70?
Congrats, man. I didn't know.
Yeah. That's dogs. A good hound's age or 2.
When'd you turn 70, Daniel? What was that?
Somebody's cell phone's ringing.
Yeah, that's mine.
It was sometime after I started my first still.
Your first still?
Yeah.
Really? What were you drinking?
Hello, you're on the air. Are you from Australia, really?
Speakerphone.
Oh, I don't. No, he should.
Speakerphone.
I don't know how to put a speaker. Hold on a second.
Speakerphone.
So I never take calls here, but we wanted to clear one thing up.
Oh, I got to share.
And it was about an Australian saying, "You can't give him a candy bar with a phone, Dan."
Really?
It's cold. It's chilled.
Right here. Let me get off mic and take this call for a second. Thanks.
Do you want one? I can't give away a Hershey
Speakerphone, Jim.
chocolate bar.
Well, we're at the podcast right now, trying to get the speakerphone on.
Oh, the world is coming apart.
This podcast is falling apart in front of my eyes.
No, not at all. It's
Not
just
at all.
a slow day today.
Yeah, we spilled coffee everywhere. It's just a crazy day.
What,
So,
earlier?
Phil, save us, Phil.
I see it. I see the mark.
Phil, how we doing? You were here.
Mine is this hot day.
Were you happy with what happened the other day?
I'm like,
Hopeful, maybe?
I can't talk about my feelings because they're personal. And to each his own, you know, that's everybody's opinion. I can't give out my opinion because my opinion is my opinion.
I want to know
and
your
I'm pretty
opinion.
sure other people have their opinion. Nah, that's why it's my opinion. I'm going to want to keep it
Well,
my opinion.
happy or no? I just want to know, happy or not about the day?
It's,
Hopeful?
In a form of life, you know, it's either we're going to do something about it, whether we're happy or not, or we're just going to keep the stuff as it is. And, you know, we're doing something about it. We're here right now, aren't we? So, you know, we're definitely, you know, just because, hey, I'm just very careful with what I say. That's all. I was satisfied. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Do you think something's going to happen? Do you think they're going to change?
Oh, back to that again. That's my opinion also. I can't really, you know, because
What do you think? You think they're going to do something, or are we going to have to keep fighting this fight? I can't keep fighting this fight forever, Phil. I
No,
can't.
I don't think
I'm
we-
done.
I don't
I'm
think a
in
lot.
pain. I'm done.
I definitely understand that.
We need to step it up, and I don't know how we should step it up.
I definitely understand that.
I love what you did. I appreciate what you did, and we got to do more of that.
And we are. We're doing a lot more than a lot of people is.
Oh yeah, Jersey's got the best activists in the country. We
Yes.
really do. It's not even close, right? Seriously, right? There's nobody even close to New Jersey's activists.
Because on top of that, too, we got a lot of stuff on the bill that a lot of states don't even have yet.
Yes.
So, like, you know, especially for veterans. You know, we're doing a lot of stuff for veterans in the state that a lot of states that are fully legalized are not even doing yet. So at the end of the day, they're ass backwards. Even though we're still fighting the fight to where, as like, the only main person we're really fighting is just for somebody to get out of the governor's office. I feel like once we get a new governor, our fight is really going to be over. But then again, I can't really say that, so I'm not really saying that, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Keep it on my opinion, you know, keep it on me. So, but, you know, you can't knock Jersey down. Even though we're really fighting, even though this is a long fight, you know, at the end of the day, we're doing a lot of stuff a lot of states are not doing, so you got to give that up. Oh.
That coffee was destined
To
be
fall.
spilled.
There's another coffee spill.
I got a shot left. Wow.
I think you should just give it to the grass.
This is the coffee that Tony spilled on that girl, and now it's gone. It's gone.
What is it, Wawa?
No, across the street.
Oh, okay, that's probably why. Yeah, that's not-
When I first bought it for Lefty, I spilled it on someone. She hates me now.
Here come the bees. Look at, I can see the bees over
So
there
it's
gathering
cursed.
for the sugar.
So
Holy
it's cursed.
moly.
All right. Anyway, I gotta run, man. But
That was that girl coming back for
Yeah.
A cursed coffee.
It's karma.
Yeah.
All right, there goes my back again. Excuse me. Excuse me, fellas. Tag team.
Sorry about that. I have a longtime friend in Australia who had some visiting time this week.
So they were really
He's
from
on
Australia.
a bus leaving, and we didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And I didn't want to not talk to him. So
they were really from Australia.
yeah, well, so Lefty's back laying down.
Yes,
Look, it looks like he's laying in the sun, just catching some rays. You know, that's you can't tell the person hurts to look at them. You just can't tell. That's why when somebody would always say, well, for somebody, like the first time we got arrested, Cheryl and I, in the congressman's office, he said on the news report to a reporter that he would make an exception, medical marijuana, for somebody who appeared to be in Cheryl's condition. And I resent that. Because she's in a wheelchair, he would make an exception for her because he, as a legislator, determines that's past a certain point where you wouldn't want to help somebody. What about Lefty? He can't even sit up right now. He's laying there with a heating pad on the grass, and right now he's more as disabled as Cheryl ever was. But when you see him sitting there, you can't see.
No, you can't.
You
tell.
cannot see disability.
And you can't tell either. He just looks like somebody that's just enjoying the sun.
I mean, we worked really hard to get post-traumatic stress added, and you can't see post-traumatic stress. It doesn't show. I mean, you can see it in somebody's face maybe, but, it should be up to people's doctors to decide their health care. That'd be a nice concept. I like that a lot. The doctor could recommend it.
Yes, and start going through a whole different. Because we just had that problem the other day with my brother. My brother was trying to get his medicinal, and we called for a consultation. And they was like, "Hey, did you go see a physician?" We're like, "No." And we asked them, "Could you guide us to a list of physicians?" They were like, "They're not allowed to." So it was like, okay, so we're back to square one. They're like, "Is there anything else we can help you?" I'm like, "I guess not."
Well, I can help with that. Not here at the moment.
Oh, I know. I wasn't. But he's going. Yeah,
assuming it's an allowable indication or a variation thereof.
If I need it for myself, I already know where to go and stuff, and I already know to say who I am. But it was just for my bro, so at the moment, and it was just like he just needed some type of guidance, and we couldn't even get it. So.
Not from the people who offer the service, but the Coalition for Medical Marijuana is always willing to answer anybody's concerns about this.
I was just saying, just again, going back to the physician, it's just with physician registry, it's just a headache.
Yeah.
It was just a headache, and we couldn't even be guided to a physician, to even a name of person.
Not through the health department or. You can look at the registry, but somebody called everybody that was on the physician registry, and so many either weren't accepting new patients, weren't participating in the registry. It would take forever to find somebody that actually was accepting any patients.
So it's a headache on top of headache.
And the reason that our governor did all this is he didn't want there to be pot doctors. He was afraid that without strict regulations, there'd be pot doctors, just prescribing pot to everybody. But what he's done is he's created pot doctors because those who are willing to do it are so few, and there are so many patients that need a doctor. It just stands to reason that if there are 10,000 people looking to be in the program and there are 300 doctors, and some aren't going to take their fair share, they're just going to take a couple. There are now doctors that have dozens and dozens of patients, and good for them. There should be, because they're helping those patients. And
making money
so the governor created pot doctors. He created a new tax. Nobody ever, he likes to look tax neutral, that if he's going to increase one like the gasoline tax, then he's going to want to lower the sales tax, like 0.375, but he calls that offsetting or balancing. So when he decided to tax cannabis, medical cannabis, a 7% sales tax, when whoever decided it, he could have said, as governor, no, we don't tax medicine. And then somebody would say to him, well, actually, we don't tax prescribed medicine, and we don't tax over-the-counter medicine. This is neither. It's not over-the-counter. It's not prescribed. It's recommended. Therefore, New Jersey may tax it. Doesn't mean they should. Ask Jim Florio. He was allowed to tax toilet paper, and it didn't used to be taxed. And I remember this. I'm an old guy. You know how many jokes were being made about the governor taxing toilet paper? It's just ripe with crappy jokes. You know what I'm saying? And it's taxing medical marijuana has caused patients to not have a full month's supply on their monthly income that many of them live on. It costs them 7% of their medicine, and I calculated that tax causes somebody who runs out of medicine around 36 hours of non-medicated time due to the tax. That they would have had 36 hours of more medication if they weren't paying 7% tax. It's really good estimate. So the governor did create a new tax. He's just doing everything he wants to look like he's not doing. And it's being addressed. I don't understand the relationship. Please tell me if anybody has an idea. In the legalization bill, it contains language that would rescind the medical marijuana tax. So if there's language in a legalization of cannabis for adults bill that would get rid of the medical tax, why do they not just put up a separate bill getting rid of the medical tax all by itself? Why should patients be held hostage to this bill passing to get rid of the tax? Does that offend anybody other than me? I mean, I know they're trying to help. They want to get legalization, but why is it that they won't just simply go and do it? If they know that it's that important, then they should be able to do it. All right, we have a guest sitting down, as of yet identified. I want to push a button up for you.
Thank you. Second son.
So what can you bring to the table here? What's going on? Who the hell are you?
I'm a musician in South Jersey. We got a pretty big circle.
We love musicians.
We have internet radio on the weekends, Shadow Company Radio, and my name's Second Son. That's my stage name, and we're doing a lot of things. We already got like 236 songs. We have videos on YouTube. We've done about everything you can have around here, Battle League and everything. And we support that this plant right here should be, free for anybody to have and to use as they want to, because it causes no harm. You don't want to get up and fight. Believe me, I know how that feels to live like that. And I never feel like that with this. And it's just a peaceful thing, and I know they're trying to hide it because it's got value.
When you play out, do you have any cannabis-related songs like?
Of course, it's hidden in there though. We do a lot of backwards things.
Oh man, backmasking.
Subliminal messages.
Yeah, subliminal messages. If evil can do it, good can do it.
Yeah, well, I know the Beatles had "Paul is Dead."
What
Paul
kind of-
is dead in the walrus backwards.
What's your genre?
Genre?
What's your
yeah, well, that was one of the things for this. I'm gonna tell you.
Jazz, reggae, salsa.
No, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna make an intro. This album's gonna be a little different because it's gonna have other people in it besides just me. But our intro was gonna be that we're not hip hop, because if hip hop is the stuff that's coming out of the radio today and has no meaning, and plus, there's things I want to talk about, real stuff.
Only old people
like
say.
No, like this.
Say that.
The
music is crazy.
Like what?
Only old people. You have to be. You went to the.
Well, I got an old soul. I got an old
doctor.
soul. I love classic rock. I probably listen to that more than I listen to hip hop.
How about Big Band?
Okay, Daniel. And
But back to what we're talking
okay,
about.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
This is a cannabis podcast, and we have to at least say the word cannabis in the middle of the cannabis, in the middle of another discussion. I mean, even if it's like, what kind of cannabis music do you play? Subliminal.
I just.
Matter of fact, I'll do cannabis.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I'm putting in the subliminal while you talk. Cannabis. cannabis. No, this is good because like
Subliminal
musicians really do get a message out, and like you were saying, it's not necessarily going to have to be overt. It's just actually knowing when a band is like slightly stupid when they're cannabis friendly.
Well, you could tell just by listening when.
Well, for them, they're a little easier to tell than others how much their support is, because they're very, very obvious about it. But, we, Coalition for Medical Marijuana, tables at the Stone Pony and other venues. And usually when a cannabis-friendly group is playing, which is often enough that we get the table there for some pretty good entertainment. And it's because musicians generally do support.
Well, you can give me some of this information.
Well, this is, and also if we, say, had some sort of major fundraising event that had multiple bands playing quick little sets, we'd want to know how to get in touch with you because
all right.
We are going to do something this year. We've never done that.
We can definitely do that.
Board member Philippe, we're going to do a fundraiser.
At least 3 bands.
Let's commit to the whole coalition right now.
Yes.
No board vote. We say we're going to.
I see you have dog tags. Were you
am I included in this band thing?
The girl I'm with was.
Oh, no, you play, yeah.
I play, yeah.
Solo set. You did a solo.
My father.
Oh, okay.
So they have meaning for me like that. Not myself.
Understood. Yeah, definitely. We could definitely do a fundraiser. I'm down.
We're going to do that. And music's always a part of fundraising.
We spoke about that, yes. Yeah. It brings people together.
We've never done a fundraiser. Coalition for Medical Marijuana has never said this is a fundraiser specifically.
Yeah.
We table.
I would just, if you guys needed a show, if you guys ever need a show put together, I'll give you the information. We'll talk.
I'll link with you. I'll make sure I get your information after this.
Okay.
And, we'll link after, and we'll set something up.
And stop making this plan illegal.
Yeah.
Because you're greedy and you want money and big farm and all that. All right?
Yeah,
Why don't you let some people live for once?
Well, thanks for sitting down. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank
you. Hey, Tony,
you.
why don't you come have a seat?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anytime. We're here every week, man. Stop by.
All right, guys.
Swing by.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming by, man. Great. I'd like to keep the fourth seat filled with Tony Liberty. I don't get tired of saying how good the podcast was for Tony. First year of the podcast, we never saw Tony. You know why we didn't see Tony at the podcast? He couldn't make it to the podcast. He was homebound with the results of 500 milligrams of opiates per day, a maximum discretion. No, that's not a misspeak. 500.
480.
Okay, then you.
Milligrams of what?
Oxycodone every single day.
And I've been telling people 5.
Apparently
It's almost a
everything
half.
you could think of.
That's just, but he couldn't, Daniel. He couldn't get out of the house to come to the podcast. But he was actually our regular viewer.
I did. I watched many a day where the migraines were so bad that gyms and lefties and other people at the podcast voices were the only thing that connected me back to the earth. And fortunately for me, it also connected me to the cannabis industry and the cannabis activism in New Jersey. So as I got healthier on the medical cannabis program, I had somewhere I could escape to every once in a while when I had a healthy enough day to get out of the house. And
which was few and far between at first.
they were. There was only one podcast I made it to in 2015. And I think I made like 9 in 2016, and I've been to every one so far this year.
Yeah, so you're just getting better and better.
One of the most difficult things as a disabled person who was in bed for 3 years.
You don't look disabled.
Most people say that. I wish I didn't feel disabled.
I know. I'm just.
I know.
You know what I'm doing.
I know. And to be able to have somewhere to go where there were friendly faces that appreciated when I stopped in gave me the drive to get healthier and healthier and healthier. And I don't know that I would have ever been able to do that without having something that I could come to when I was healthy enough and not when I wasn't. Like, no job was ever going to put up with how unhealthy I was at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People always say, well, if this just helps one person, it's worth it. Well, you're at least the one person. We'd like to hope there's many more.
Yeah, we know there are many
and
more.
many more coming. And that's actually one of the harder things is to keep up the commitment when you don't really see all the people. You don't see even a small part of them who are being helped by this. And you just got to know they're there. You know, you don't hear feedback from them often. And a lot of it was always because a lot of the help came when it was illegal. So they wouldn't be so free to.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are still afraid to come
publicly
out
say
into
things.
it's coming out of the closet for cannabis, kind of,
Yeah, well, it's becoming a little bit
I like how you put that.
flavor of the month
Coming
at
out
the
the
moment.
closet for cannabis.
And
What did you watch the episode of Trapped in the Closet before you came over here?
I never heard of that. I don't watch TV. I don't know.
what did I miss? What did I miss?
It's like a series of R. Kelly music episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cannabis.
Coming out the he said coming out the closet for cannabis. It just
And Philippe is like R. Kelly, R. Kelly.
I remember giving a talk to the New York State Libertarian Party 15 years ago in Manhattan. And we had a room within a restaurant, like a banquet. Thought it or you can go to the office of their party, like the assembly majority would be the Democratic assemblyman, and assembly majority in the Senate would be the Democrats. So you go to the Senate majority office, as Philippe and I have done, and you hand in a letter to your legislator, and they will get it in their inbox. But they also know that you came down to the State House, went down to the majority office, and did that. But beyond that, what do you think, Philippe? What goes on when you walk down there? You pass by people.
We gotta start. I remember we spoke about to us like we was gonna go try to reach out to the Attorney General, so we could start helping educate these police officers, since a lot of these police officers are new. A lot of these state troopers are new.
Yeah. So what we need to do then is we need to take excerpts from Lefty's I&E tour that show that when he goes to, say, in a police station, in the precinct, goes up to the desk sergeant and says, "My name is Lefty Grimes. I'm a medical marijuana patient in the state of New Jersey. I have my ID, my state-sanctioned medicine in its sanctioned container. I'm in pain right now. Where's the closest place to here I can use my medication without you arresting me?" They should know just right on the spot where. They almost never do, because with this brand new law, the State Attorney General's office sent out the compassionate use medical marijuana guidelines, but with no reason for anybody to even read them. They're coffee coasters or at the bottom of somebody's parakeet page, picking up parrot crap. I mean, there's no follow-up. There's no continuing education. So Lefty's proven over 3 years and probably 65 different police stations that almost none know. But you can't go say, look at 65 different full videos. We need to find somebody with video capability who can put together something we can send to the Attorney General's office. So basically, we have narrowed it down. We need somebody who can do that. This is where it stops, because I can't.
That's
for me.
We've got the people that are here making the podcasts, and Lefty's making the videos, but we need some people behind the scenes to
We
actually
need
be
one.
cutting
We need
footage.
one person who can say, "I'm going to jump take 3 things." In other words, so basic. Let's take this 12 seconds out. Boom, jump take. I mean, right to the next one. Boom. It doesn't have to be glamorous. It just has to be out and on YouTube, so that the Attorney General's office knows that everybody else knows now.
It's got to
Look
be.
what he's got to do.
It's got to be edited out and cut together, just so you can see each individual.
Yeah, it
piece.
doesn't have to blend well, and it
No,
doesn't
have to
need
be a television
moving
show.
No, but I can't do it. I'm not
It
capable.
can't be a television show.
It could be a television show, but it doesn't have to be.
But then again, it can't be a television show because people hates paying attention out there. People like, if you look at a video nowadays, a lot of videos so like it gets like 100-something million views and everything. Like the video it's like less than 5 minutes. People is not gonna sit there for like 10 minutes, not even for a whole.
They're
10
not
minutes.
going to sit there for 5.
That's why we don't have the viewers that are watching 4 hours straight of our footage all the time.
We don't have
That's
people
why.
watching 5 minutes. Okay, you want to see something? What's your limit?
Once you see that time, you're gonna be like, once you see that time, you're gonna be like, okay, cool. You're gonna click on the video. This video says 1 hour and 35 minutes.
No.
The very first thing people pops up in the head is what the hell they could do within that hour and 35 minutes.
What am I watching for an hour?
Okay.
It's a movie.
Exactly.
There is something to be done, though. And I've
Sure.
seen it done where they put it in 5-minute segments, and there's 20 of them. Part 1,
Yes.
part 2.
Yes.
So you might watch part 1, but you know what? 5 minutes is too long, too. We can get that nailed that the Attorney General did not do. It's 2 Attorney Generals before the Channing, what's his name now? I don't even know his name.
They've changed so many times in the last couple of years.
Well, there was 2 acting Attorney Generals and 1 attorney. 2 acting Attorney Generals and 1 Attorney General before him who did not do their job. He has not followed up on their lack of doing their job, and we need him to do that. But when he can see on YouTube that other people already see and might be looking at something, and then drum up, promote it so they also look at those views, and if they don't see like 17 or 18 or 20, and Lefty's had stuff. You did something that got to like 50,000 views or 45 in a few days.
That was a Seaside Heights one on
no,
the boardwalk.
No, there was.
And the DRPA bridge got like 10,000 in 4 hours. Or
so we need the Attorney General's exposure to be the same. We need to do that, and I think that with everything else that we're trying to coordinate, organize, and keep track of, we need one thing we're moving on, and it would be get this video public so the Attorney General's office can see it and decide on what they want to do to offer continuing education, mandate it so that police everywhere in New Jersey know patients' rights, and if they are unaware, they know who to call on the spot to clear something up correctly. It shouldn't have to be. Right now, the current policy is confiscate, arrest if necessary, cite, and then, what did I say? Let the court figure it out. That'll be decided in court. No, it's a law. It doesn't get decided in court. The law got decided in the legislature. It got decided when the governor signed it. It's not up to the court to do that. Are we being attacked by triffids?
Yeah, we've got an alarm going off.
I think that once they get to the point where you have to go to court, they've already done the damage.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. It's not up to go to court. I mean, suppose you had a prescription.
Right, exactly.
And it was in its proper container, and somebody didn't believe it was you or whatever.
Yeah, so then they get to take control of your life for that time, and you end up having to pay court costs and having to defend yourself. It's just not
and the
right.
most important part, they're taking somebody's medicine in a case like that. And it is medicine. The governor says so, and I'm going to have to go with the governor on this one.
Yeah.
You're just on a spilling spree today, aren't you, Lefty?
Man.
Yeah. I think it was
Spill
pretty.
everything today.
I think it was pretty crazy what happened in Philly.
We got to set him up one time. We got to set him up with something here, a leak cover or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He can't hear that. It's on speaker.
Yeah. So I think it's horrible what they did to people in Philly. I mean, how were the police in Philly, Jim? How were the police in Philly allowed to keep medical marijuana patients medicine when they had that bust in Philly? Some people I heard, I wasn't there, but some people that were there, I heard that the police made them give up their medical marijuana. Their legal medical marijuana, whether it was sealed were in the bag.
That's my point, Cindy. The policy is you don't have to know the law if you're police. You can simply bring it down, get it to court, and everybody feels you've done some sort of version of your job. But it's not their fault if they haven't been made to know the new law. Now, this is a controlled one substance. You would think legalizing it for 10,000 people even would be of great concern to the Attorney General's office that they don't know how to enforce this because it's brand new. It's not a variation of an existing law. It's not a revamped law or a lessening of restrictions on a law. It's an entire new concept.
Oh, yeah, and they've got to really get themselves on the same page before they even start it.
That's the Attorney General's job of New Jersey.
Yeah.
He's supposed to make sure that they know about it and that it's being carried out and there's no plan. But we can't say much about it until we bring it very much to his attention, and in a way that it's public, not just knocking on the door and saying we need to do something. That's why once it's on YouTube, he'll know that the response time is from when it was put on YouTube and it was brought to his attention. How long does it take him to do his job? And he's just correcting the lack of action on two previous acting attorney generals and one confirmed attorney general, and now it's him. So he's the fourth person not doing his job, making sure that these regulations are understood.
And what about these two new? They're two new governors. Patrick, is it?
Well, they're not governors yet.
They're not governors yet. They're running for governor. They have two different bills up there for legalization.
Yeah.
The one wants to handle it like alcohol, and the other one wants to handle it like tobacco. We, of course, want it handled like tobacco because we want grow, and we don't want people getting arrested. Where the other guy, I heard, is going to be still arresting people.
Which other guy? We need names.
Yes, I do. I know. I mean,
the other candidate would be Kim, and that wouldn't be a guy Kim. That'd be Kim Guadagno is the
Kim Guadagno.
Yeah, she's Lieutenant Governor. She's the Republican candidate.
Yeah, I didn't do much research on her. I just stick on the one I like.
No, the essentials are correct.
Yeah.
I'm not real. We divide our duties at the coalition. It's not like I'm uninformed. It's that this is our news director and all things informational, Ken Walsky. I just simply ask Ken, where are we? I don't need to do the same thing that he does. We operate generally in different directions, and he can then consult me on things I'm doing, and I consult him. So he's, when it's really important, a touch away. Home grow is really on everybody's radar.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm wondering, I don't know if it's just that I want to be hopeful, but perhaps Senator Nick Scutari didn't include it because he knew there'd be a lot of people pushing back, and he needs other people to see that, not just him. He needs to see he needs legislators, whose help he needs, to see an outcry about home grow.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to get that outcry if you put it in? Okay, I'm not saying people who smoke are lazy sometimes, but we defend a lot better than we do help push something like that. So I think that we definitely, man, we need to do some education in the worst way.
Yeah.
Well, we're
So,
doing it
do
in
you
the
like
worst way.
Scatura? I mean, for your personal opinion?
Nick Scutari, when he introduced the original medical marijuana bill, he had a home grow provision for patients of 6 plants and 2 ounces of dried usable material. That if he understood, it would have been possible then, they determined in the assembly that they weren't going to go that way, and the compromise bill was either not going to get passed or passed without home grow. So they opted to get some patients off the battlefield by not having home grow, passing what the assembly would, and that's what we got. Now, we found out since then how hard it is to correct regulations once they're implemented. It's a lot easier, I think, to get it right in the original bill. And the question is going to be, if home grow is not in it, should it be passed or not? And it's really hard to say, for me, no, I don't care if it takes 10 more years. I don't want it legal until we can grow it. Because for the next 10 years, I'm looking over I don't look over my shoulder. But, metaphorically, people are looking over their shoulders. It's a tough concept. And the louder we speak up now, before the regulations happen, this is our best chance. And it can't just be, I have the right to grow a plant. They've heard that. They can bat that aside. Yes, it hasn't killed anybody. That's not going to sway. I think. I think the real thing is the infringements upon people's rights to have less government, and that they can grow this themselves. They don't need the help of government. The government is here to help us. We don't need that help. We can grow. Yeah.
There's state and then there's federal.
Yeah.
You know that, I'm sure. And it seems like, I understand what it's like to enjoy the beauty of the plant itself. Like, I wouldn't even have to smoke it. I could still love that plant and just want to grow it. Like, emphasis is on growing right now.
Some people don't realize how you can grow a plant and somewhat sculpt it by when you trim it and top it. You want it bushy, you want it longer, bigger buds, all that. And it's within the cannabis.
Clip one, make two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've been having a little bit of allergic reactions to the medical weed, and I've been speaking to other people. I wonder if they are putting, I know there's like oil of oregano. I was in a meeting the other day.
Okay, shouldn't everything be listed that's in that? I mean,
I
is there
think
no listing?
There is no
Well, sometimes
listing of
they don't send it out.
ingredients,
They don't know.
and it
No,
should.
they're not going to do that for that. I mean, if you get in touch and say, I'd like a list
Right.
of everything that goes in that because I think I'm having an allergic reaction,
Right.
I believe they could supply it
Yeah,
to
because
you.
sometimes my nose gets stuffy.
Well,
It's just kind of strange.
Get on it. Ask them.
Yeah.
Because I would like to know. And actually, somebody was also voicing this concern to me. And I did want to look at it. Heard there was 14 chemical compounds
That's
being
what
added.
I heard, yeah.
I said, well, if
Flavonoids, terps, all
okay, well,
kinds of-
if we've heard that, we need to go to the source. And,
Right.
our friend George
Yeah.
will at least answer,
Yeah.
whether it's the answer we want. But we need to know. And he's a good place to start. So if we haven't asked him,
Like you asked your doctor.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you asked your doctor.
And you as a pay, do you use the?
I'd like to take a tour.
Do you
I
use-
think we should take a tour if we haven't taken a tour of the facility yet, and that way we can ask them.
Yeah, well,
I know it's
no,
grown
no,
hydroponically, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lie and say it's
No, but it would still be
hydroponic and
cool.
then hide
It would still be cool to go take a tour. I think we're
Well,
allowed. All we
okay,
got to do is
then
request.
Based on the degree of cool, that would be cool, but it's not, it's not something he would be doing as part of his job. He'd be doing it because I believe both Ken and Peter Rosenfeld took a tour. and
Yeah, they did.
Had a nice picture in front of a sea of plants. It
Yeah,
was pretty
it's
impressive.
awesome.
And it's.
I mean, the
it-
plants
it's a
look
concern.
beautiful. The buds look beautiful.
They always look good.
They always do.
They always look good. I wonder what it smells like in there.
Oh God! Just walking into the lobby, it smells so good. I do love that place. It's just that it's weird, you know. I've been getting these little stuffy noses.
Well, then
after I
look
smoke
into
them.
it, report back.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, definitely.
It's a homework assignment for you now.
There you go. Now I got another homework assignment.
Balance the pros and the cons.
I got to do some research. I'm in charge of research, right? Any kind of research you need, just let me know.
Well, that's one, but that's more you having a reaction, and I'd like to know what happens when a patient says, I need more specifics on anything put in there that's added. And
right, because
I'm guessing they'll be full comply with that.
Hospital's trying to say I got COPD. I don't believe them. I'm not accepting that. But that's what they're saying, and I don't smoke cigarettes, so it's just kind of strange.
Did you tell them that?
Yes, I did tell them that.
And they still said you could have COPD?
Yes. I was in a hospital twice with bilateral bacterial pneumonia.
They could be right.
They could be right, but I'm not,
They could be right, and they may be wrong.
Yeah, but I think they're actually categorizing a lot of things underneath COPD, like asthma, bronchitis, allergies. You know, I just think they're just putting them all together. There's too many people coming down with COPD.
Environment has
yeah,
a
well,
lot to do with it.
My,
what is COPD?
It is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Now, is that a specific disease, or is it anything that obstructs your pulmonary functions?
It's basically a from damage to the lungs. So
but it could be caused by those other things then.
The pneumonia.
In other words, the things that are under the umbrella that you're talking about.
Right.
They're probably trying to say that could lead to COPD.
Yeah, because they're trying to say I have asthma. I don't have asthma. I mean, at least I don't think I did. I had pneumonia.
What do you say? You know, maybe you do. I'm just saying.
Maybe I do, but don't you think I'd be like worried and carrying a butylator?
Somebody told me I was stupid once, and I didn't think I was.
Yeah. Well, I just, I kind of have a firm belief that the mind is a powerful thing. And
I agree.
If you don't accept what they say, you can maybe rule it out, or you can cure it.
I'm envious
what is the main concern?
Well, Kim's brother.
What's the main concern? Like,
well, the thing is,
you other
I could end up in a hospital every 3 to 4 months with pneumonia. I could have an asthma attack, so they say. But Kim's brother lives right on the other side of the road from me. And he just got diagnosed with COPD, and he's never smoked anything in his life.
So that's why I say it's also what's in the environment.
Well,
right, because he lives next door with my daughter's ex-boyfriend, Billy, and
cannabis.
He's only 32. Billy doesn't smoke cannabis.
I just said the word cannabis when it has been said for a minute.
But he also, they're diagnosing people all over the place with these respiratory diseases, and it just seems more like environment, but
the environment would, in fact, be causing a respiratory disease.
Yeah, but it seems to be like overload in certain areas. Like a lot of people, my neighbor died from COPD. Yeah. So a lot of people right in our area are all coming down with it.
My mom died from basically COPD 2 weeks ago, but she was 87 and she smoked since she was 21.
Wow.
So
Wow. She smoked for that long until she was 87?
Yeah,
Jeez.
she almost made 88. She beat the odds.
And my neighbor was told to stop smoking when she had COPD, and she stopped smoking, and that's when she died. Yeah. Because the withdrawals, I suppose.
And Joey Garcia died at a rehab, so, we got a lot of coming.
So
but,
like, you just got to live. You just got to, you don't accept these diagnoses and prove them wrong.
It is weird like that. You quit smoking, and that's when you die from it.
Sometimes it's not always the right thing.
Cannabis.
You go jump on a mic.
Cannabis. I'm just saying, we're a cannabis podcast. That's interesting. No, it is. We get to digress a little bit. It's not like we got to always be on point, and a lot of the information is transferable to what we do, and that's what I deem that to be. I'm like a Gong Show guy, like an old Chuck Barris. It's sort of like at some point I go cannabis, and that's the Gong. It's like we've gone too long that direction. A little bit of a side.
And you were saying, Kim?
Yes, Kim.
She has
Kim
asthma
Christmas.
too. She was basically diagnosed with COPD herself.
Yeah.
Cannabis.
It's cannabis.
No, actually, I have smoked for a long time. But
she smokes cigarettes.
Cigarettes. So I was in the hospital, and this lady, 78 years old, and she's browbeating me over the cigarettes, basically, that they're really bad. And she said, however, Kim, I'm 78 years old. I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life, and I'm dying of lung cancer. So that tells me that it's definitely, also your environment.
Sure, Andy Kaufman. The late great Andy Kaufman, lung cancer, never smoked.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Think about that.
Yeah, so,
Think of all the
you
shit
know,
you could
can't
do.
really blame anybody or anything
So
that
at that
you
point,
do. I mean, look at him. His mom smoked till she was 87.
Cannabis.
This
Cannabis.
is the thing. You know, you want to.
Did she smoke cannabis?
No, I'm just keeping it on cannabis. When I
Oh,
hear the
'cause that would've been
conversation
really
going
awesome.
off another direction, I just say cannabis.
yeah.
I thought your mom smoked cannabis till she was 87. That
I
would've
thought
never
you meant
once,
that's
never
causing
once.
the lung cancer.
No.
Okay, now here's something more direct. Let's delve into this. Somebody
Yeah.
did a study, looking back study, whatever that's called, and in groups that did not smoke cannabis and did not smoke tobacco, smoked either one or the other, or smoked both, and they found
I've heard this
that
one, yeah.
less people got cancer who smoked both than just
marijuana.
No, than just tobacco. In other words, if you smoked marijuana and tobacco,
Your chances were 50%
you would get
less,
you
right?
would get less. But it was people that didn't smoke it at all.
But
got it more.
The
as
one
well.
they should have tried hard then was the one with the people smoking the marijuana and the nicotine and just marijuana. You know what I mean? To see
I used to smoke
if
both.
it was making any difference.
And I would say there's a very good reason not to smoke both. And I'll tell you why.
Or maybe just nicotine.
Okay, it's not scientific.
No.
It's just personal experience.
Yeah.
But when I stopped smoking cigarettes in 1986, but when I did,
Yay.
I found the detrimental effect to be that I would smoke cannabis, and it was great. And then I would follow it with a cigarette, which would make it a little dizzy and a little not as clean feeling, and it brought me down.
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's crap. Then I started coughing. Not when I had cigarettes, but when I tried to hold smoke in my lungs, I'd end up coughing. And I determined that it was the cigarettes that were making me cough the marijuana smoke out, and I didn't want to do that. So I decided I wanted to give up cigarettes. And I couldn't. But I got sick, and so sick I had to quit, and then I took advantage of it, so, you know.
Well, that's good that you quit, yes.
Well, I took advantage of it. You know, sometimes you get so sick you can't smoke, or you go to the hospital for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the hardest couple of days. So physically, you know, you have a chance to quit. And,
True.
However, cigarettes are legal.
Yeah, so people can kill themselves with cigarettes.
Yeah, you could.
Can't save yourself with marijuana.
Oh, there's so many ways you can hurt yourself with legal products.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That's what I mean.
Too much of a good thing is bad for you.
Yeah, well, look at
Absolutely.
And, you know, we have to deal with side effects when we're talking about cures or remedies. And the side effects of cannabis, we all know, are far less than that of most all prescription drugs.
Peanuts.
But I also maintain that
Milk.
I could get rid of a headache without any medicine.
Yeah.
I could take a hammer and hit my shin and break it. Now, the pain would be so great in my shin, I would not feel my headache. Right? I would get rid of the headache without
Maybe
medicine.
you, Jim.
But the side effect of that would be a broken shin.
Yeah.
Bad balance. So when I
Bad balance.
Jim,
when I-
try this. It's simpler. Just rub this little pressure point right there. Just do that. Just keep doing that. If you have a headache or you're stressed, you just do that. Keep doing it a little while, right? It's gonna until it softens.
You know
up.
what? I want a pressure point that make people go away.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
You
when
do
you
that.
just
Another pressure
squeeze.
point. You do this
what?
with your fingers.
Make
You
people
do
just
this,
go away
do
when I want them
this.
to go away.
Like
If I
the
could-
This also helps. Really? I mean, it's supposed to calm you down.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll try
Supposed
that.
to
I'm not
What
gonna.
am I
relax
hearing?
you,
I'm not
make your
gonna.
headache go away.
I'm not gonna be a doubter, but the next time I'm in pain, I'm gonna do that.
I can make your headache
Oh,
go
actually,
away.
I'm kinda in pain
Cam
right
and
now.
Axtine.
I
I can make your headache
I
go
have
away.
a question, Jim.
Yes,
I was
Kim.
curious. I see that the sign you have out front about the opiates. I was wondering how that's coming along. Is that going to become a bill where they're trying to pass?
Which song
that
we have?
as
We have a
a-
couple. I want to make sure the opiates plus cannabis equals less.
Less overdose.
Less overdose. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. The where we are in that now. Thank you for a cannabis question. Is that the medical advisory panel made its recommendations coming up on 2 months ago now. So we're still at the end of a 2-month public comment period. That's the stated course this goes. At the end of that, which is coming up soon, it goes to the Department of Health, the recommendations. The commissioner of the Department of Health, Kathleen Bennett, then has 6 months to say yes or no. Here's my problem. I'm guessing she already knows they're coming. It's 2 months of a public comment period. She should be using that time to know what she wants to do, because we're talking about sick and hurt people. That 1 hour goes by seems like a day, and then we're just flippantly saying, give her half a year to figure it out. Why? What is it that 3 months can be done better in 6 months to know yes or no to experts' advice? They are the experts. They are physicians, nurses, one's a psychiatrist. They cover the board, so when they recommend something, Kathleen Bennett is not a healthcare professional. She's the head of the Department of Health. She should take her advice from healthcare professionals, the ones that were charged with taking all the information, reviewing the petitions over a period of 6 months, and then they made their recommendations. And not all were passed, but just about all were. Especially chronic pain. So we are on the cusp now of having the greatest weapon we have in the fight against opioid abuse.
Yeah.
And we're giving her a half year.
Oh, man.
A half a year to implement that. In a half a year, 250 people will overdose in New Jersey. If the statistics of the American Medical Association follow for New Jersey, that would mean out of 500 a year, we could save 25%. That means 62 or 63 people we could have saved with cannabis will die because she had a half a year. That's the figures.
Right.
That's the American Medical Association figures. It doesn't mean it would be 62 or 63, but it means it'll be between 30 and 90 somewhere.
You know,
how is that acceptable?
There's a lot of young kids.
What I would like to see is less relapse if they were to deal with their heroin.
Let me ask you about relapse, Kim.
Can I tell you, Kim had lost a son to a heroin overdose.
I know.
Sure it is. This is
Yeah,
called not one
but so
not
this
one
is
more.
why you would know, and you would know about this. Relapse is not considered in the governor's 28 days worth of rehabilitation funding. 28 days, and I say we need to consider relapse because.
Yes.
How do you
absolutely.
find out, Kim, if this place or this place has less patients relapsing? There's no. Is there any way to find out, or am I right that you
No.
cannot find that out?
No, HIPAA. So. Yeah,
So,
no,
but
not just
in
HIPAA,
but in
no.
anything else, it seems so advantageous to get people to come on in, and work with you. If you can say, okay, you can find out in a hospital the success rate of operations at any hospital. In other words, you can find out for a procedure, heart procedure, at a hospital, not specifics on who, but you know how they're doing.
Yes.
You know, because like back in the day when Holiday City in Toms River, or Berkeley, just outside Toms River, Ocean County, was huge. They had such a high preponderance of retired people that Ocean County, the hospital, oh God, I was raised in Toms River, I forget what it is.
The Ocean County Memorial Hospital.
They had
Now
a
it's
very,
called something else.
very high amount of incidences of heart problems that they were not able to help, and it wasn't because they were bad, it's because they just had so many people coming in like that. So there may be variance within rehab, but
Well, it's more or less relapse. Like I was thinking maybe cannabis would help them as far as Suboxone.
It does. That's why they call it an exit drug. Okay, that's loud.
Yes.
That's not me.
Yeah, not a gateway.
Can I say something?
Okay, sorry. Whose phone's going off? Let's do this here.
Not
Is that
mine.
Lefty's? What the hell's going on? We got a phone. We got a phone ringing loud, and I don't know whose it is. What the hell's going on?
It's got to be Lefty's, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Turn it off.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
It's online.
We're gonna have to make a loud noise that goes along with it.
Alright.
Rock.
I just want to say.
sounded like it was
I just want to
connected
say I had my own battle with things, and I think the jump right away right now and add opiates to
The list.
the marijuana.
Definitely.
I believe
should
that
be
they will see a
something
drop.
people should back up on a little bit because we're trying to get, you're trying to get this one in right now.
Yes.
And if you start, believe me, I know. I could give you an hour story about
To get off
You know
benzos
6
or
times.
anything, it's good for.
Yeah, and I think because this one's right. Everybody's right on with this, man. I know.
No one deserves to suffer
This
needlessly.
scar right here is just getting from cancer removed from my face from the sun. Second time I've got another scar in the back of my neck.
Cannabis.
Twice. So
No one should suffer needlessly.
Well,
But we listen, we
I
talk about
just-
this all the time. What we're not discussing right now is
Let's
what we're
get
going to
this
do
one.
about it.
Let's
Well, I'll
In
tell
other
you
words,
what we're gonna do
pointing
about
out
it.
problems
I know what to
we,
do.
we all know about.
but they're
but we
they're-
need,
I just wanted to say they're two very different things.
which and which? Make sure I'm clear.
Marijuana and opiates.
Oh yeah.
There's
Just
no-
in my
no-
opinion.
Yeah.
They
Well,
are
he
different
wanted
Doesn't
to
mean I'm right.
They're
Doesn't
two
mean
opposite
No,
ends
first
of
of
the
all,
pole.
stop. Yes, you're right. It means you're right because when you're right, you're right. Second, it's the governor saying that we don't want to legalize marijuana. We've already got an opiate problem. So that the person you want to say this to after saying it to us is the governor's office. And he's got a phone number. I don't mean to call him now, but you can call.
The
and
lefty will.
Yeah, but see, that's it. If we aren't willing to do something about it, if all
Right.
we're willing to do, bear with me. I'm running the damn show here. No.
Cannabis.
If we're not willing to do something about the problems we identify, what's the point in even identifying them? Once you identify it, you got to follow up and do something.
Like everybody should go to the next meeting for
No,
legalization.
or we've already picked one thing today. We're trying to say that we needed a focal point, so now we have defined that we want to get Jason, you should be interested in this. We need to get something to the Attorney General.
Yeah.
And we don't care if it's jump takes from what Lefty's done. We need to do it, and we need to do it now, and we don't know how, and I think you do.
What are you saying?
I
Commercial?
think Jason can help us do this.
Make a commercial or something for the Attorney General? What do you think?
We need a microphone for Jason.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Hey,
so-
listen, anytime it's like
Jason, can you do a rap?
we really like having people stop by and take part, and because it keeps us centered to what's going on in other people's lives. And last week we had some wild walk-ons. Last week when we were out by
Oh,
the
yeah.
river.
Well, thanks for having us. 'Cause
So what would it take? Let's do this.
Yeah.
What's the question?
How do we get
The
through to
question
the Attorney
is,
General?
Lefty has all this stuff. It's on it's on YouTube, and we want to just get. Okay, I would storyboard and say we need these 15 seconds from this one, and we need followed by or you or somebody could say, I think this is effective. Anything that will show that the education is necessary from the Attorney General's office, because the police don't already know it. Now, as you know, Lefty's been doing this forever. And he has a stockpile of ammunition, but what good is the ammunition if you don't use it? It's like Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly but carry a big stick. Bullshit. You got to use that big stick in front of somebody one time, because I've seen big stick. If there's a big stick over there, am I going to be afraid of it? No, it's just a freaking stick. But if it's somebody's hand who will use it, now you got to deal with them. So what is we need to be able to do something about it and use that ammunition that he's got.
We got to take our time and pick a day. Like, we need to pick a day, to actually sit down and go over a lot of this footage aside from the podcast. Like, when I was walking up, I ran into Phil, and Phil was saying the exact same thing. Like, we have all of this content, we have all of these facts, all of this information is good, and some people are getting it now while we're live, but it's still missing
way
a
too many people.
ton of people.
And then but
we still have all of that information and all of that footage.
And
so we need to find a
and
day.
The reason we need to get it, the plan is, that's right on line with exactly what we need to do. We need to make sure that the Attorney General's office knows people are watching this on YouTube, so that what we do is get that together, put it up on YouTube, and start promoting it so that it gets views, so that when we say to him, you might want to look at this because it's falling upon you to fix it. And then he sees it's already up, people are seeing it, it is a problem, and he can no longer say, I didn't know that. That's plausible deniability. Right now, the Attorney General can say, I didn't know that, and we can't prove that he did. When it's on YouTube, we can't prove that he did see it until we get in touch with him.
Is the Attorney General with Governor Christie in the state?
He's
House?
appointed by Governor Christie,
Okay.
and I don't know if he's confirmed or not, but I mean, we've had acting Attorney Generals who end up not getting confirmed. And
yeah, when I spoke to Governor Christie, he put the Attorney General on a phone. So they were in the same building back then.
or at least at the same place at the same time. He's down at the Justice Complex somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, down by the cross.
Well,
from the
I
Department of
also
Health.
think maybe we should have a rally. We should have more rallies.
Yeah, we need more rallies.
We do need more rallies. We haven't had any. Look, it's already 6 months into the year. We haven't had nothing.
And if we're going to have more rallies, I'd like to have a rally where we actually have a main. I mean, we always have a lot of good points, but like one cannabis legalization is an example.
Speaking of rallies,
yes, Jason.
I've been out of my mind.
For a long time, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, me and Phil, Flip Charles,
Flip Marley.
Flip Marley. Fully baked
You are
radio.
out of your mind, bro.
We've been working on an initiative. We created an initiative. It's called Trenton Cannabis and Community Awareness. We're going to be having 3 events in the parks in the city of Trenton. But basically, we want to start a campaign to enlighten the city. Trenton, the urban community, about cannabis.
What's the name of the initiative? Because you get a good catchy.
Trenton Cannabis and Community Awareness.
I like it.
Trenton Cannabis and Community Awareness.
Good.
And we're also looking for sponsors. So the Coalition Medical Marijuana, y'all want to help out? Sativa Cross. We had our first meeting, putting everything together last Monday, and believe next Monday we're going to have a meeting open to the public. We just now started to get the logos and everything together, the direction.
Would this be like a Mill Hill Park sort of production?
Like
as an
music
example?
and food trucks and stuff.
We're not going to go with the food trucks and vendors. Like, we're going to have chef out there. We're going to cook our own food. We're going to be giving away food to the community.
Now you're talking.
I like that.
We're giving away food. It's mainly going to be based around speakers.
And it could then it would be
educational.
Yeah, it's mainly educational. Mainly educational.
So it would be in the amphitheater area and not necessarily over the bridge and the other parts of the park.
Yeah,
we'd be all in one spot then.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's good, and I think it's something that if it's going to be educational, and what you're describing is, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we could get people there. I don't mean just like me and rally the troops. I mean people that would be out here educating.
And even the cannabis community, not just Trenton, but New Jersey, like, they've been dormant for a long time. Like, since Ed been gone, well, even before Ed got arrested, like, we haven't really brought all of the people out. And we had rallies where we had major numbers.
We did.
But, they just got comfortable. They back in the closet. We need to bring them out.
And, it does need to be around a specific issue, because while I've marched in enough parades saying I smoke pot and I like it a lot over and over. It's a lot of fun.
We couldn't think of nothing else.
but other people might be saying, well, then what's your problem?
Right.
But I liked it. It shows that many people can get together. And in the past, for those who don't know, often had been a march down State Street and coming here, and there could be as many as a couple hundred people. We'd have a rally in front of the State House, and then at one particular time, everybody would go across the street and light up.
Yep.
Yeah. And the state police would stay on this side and just,
they wouldn't bother us.
and they would say to Ed, okay, bring him back. You've had your time.
Even if we apply a rally to the event that we're trying to do with the Trenton Cannabis and Community Awareness, I wouldn't even want it to be a smoke out, kind of event, or even a rally. Like, with these events, our plan is to market strictly to the people who are unaware of cannabis or who are still latching on to those.
When's the
old
next
stigmas.
meeting? If it's possible, I would like to attend.
This Monday. What's the date this upcoming Monday?
It's Monday. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's this coming
All right, well,
Monday.
I'll make sure you get the memo.
Yeah, if it's possible, because I think it's a great idea. I mean, I really do.
26,
An awareness
June
campaign
26.
involving a community effort with really qualified speakers, not meant to be a "we smoke pot, we like a lot" thing.
Yeah,
Discreet
exactly.
smoking will be going on. You know that.
I mean, because within the past couple days, it's been blowing my mind. I'm still stuck somewhere else. Al Sharpton. We had Al Sharpton, civil rights leader Al Sharpton, speaking up about decriminalizing marijuana. Like, that's major.
I've never heard him talk about that.
Yeah, that was like the actual
And that man
first
can
time.
talk, man. He can talk.
I mean, imagine, boom, like that just changed so many people's worlds.
Well,
Like,
you know,
unbelievable. And then even here at the Senate meeting, we had the ACLU sitting right next to the NAACP.
Yeah.
So imagine how
Powerful
many
combination there.
how many people right now, all of those people into the church, all of those Christians who follow Al Sharpton, who are in the NAACP, and now
Did you see
cannabis
them-
legalization is an issue. That's something that's rattling in
Buy
their
a
head.
Courier Post or go there online and look at their today's story. It's about the racial disparities, about
That's
the
what
2.2.
everyone's talking about, yes.
It was front page, followed up on page
Courier
4.
Post.
Yeah, and well, it's a Gannett newspaper, so it'll probably be the same in the Asbury Park Press and the other 6 or so Gannett publications. But it was all about that, and it wasn't undeniable. It was laid out. It was very well done, and it was a follow-up on what went on Monday.
Right.
So with all that, and the NAACP sitting with the ACLU, yeah, it's just one more reason to do it. I mean, and it's also a reason where what you're doing is really with and for the people who this affects
Exactly.
disproportionately.
It's so needed, man.
Yeah.
It's sickening how many people don't even know that
Well,
there's medical marijuana.
Yeah.
Like, there's a program in New Jersey where patients can smoke legally.
And you know, now Ken Walsky, the CEO and co-founder of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, often listens to this show when he's not here. Ken, if you're listening, I'm volunteering you to be a speaker at this event Jason's talking
Yeah,
at.
it's needed.
And
Greatly appreciated.
so now you can say no, but that'll be on you, you know. Sorry,
Oops.
Ken, you know I'll do what it takes. So Ken Walsky, first speaker to be spoken up for.
All right, let's go.
Put him on,
has been spoken for.
Put him on the
Off
list.
to a great start.
There we go.
Also, LEAP. I wanna reach out to LEAP, Law Enforcement Against
I
Prohibition.
can help you do that.
Yeah, that's the type of direction in which
Well,
we want this
what
event to go.
what they do a lot is, I know they have a speakers bureau, and that's like that you pay and the speaker comes. However, I know Neil Franklin pretty good, and Neil Franklin has been the head of LEAP for a while, and we've spoken at events together, and we have sort of a mutual admiration society going on. If I get in touch with Neil and ask, is there somebody we really can't afford to pay a speaker, but we would love somebody from LEAP who's already in New Jersey to come by, yeah. So I'm speaking up for LEAP too, all right?
All right,
LEAP's
let's
going to
go.
be there as well.
You got some heavy hitters on the lineup
Jason,
already.
Yeah, that's all you got. You just gotta ask for it. You never know.
Yep.
I need a reminder. Everybody that knows me knows that. That means once I've said that, you got to remind me often.
He's saying call him out on that.
Yeah, in other words.
Oh, I got
yeah.
this recording. Don't worry about it. I got it. So
Perfect.
Documented.
Well, then we're getting somewhere here today. That's good. Glad to hear it. Because when we get the permits for next week, we don't know what's going to happen. Get them in the last permitted day of each month, which would be next week.
Is there going to be a
You got
situation?
some good logo here. I like that.
A situation of a Wednesday or from the street kind of situation?
Yeah, well, we don't know, and that's becoming majorly unacceptable. As we're mentioning the ACLU, we're going to see if we were bumped Monday from here because somebody had an 11 o'clock permit. We were only allowed to assemble and gather till 10 here. So, of course, we went out to the car at the end of the walkway by the road, and Lefty set up the entire thing, minus the speakers, so we were broadcasting from out there. The other group never showed up. Normally, we could have been the entire time at the State House or across the street, but they're saying the construction makes that no good. I get it at the State House. I don't think they're rebuilding the war memorial. I think we should have been there. But that we can, so far, not get a permit to gather where the governor and everybody that was in the State House, they're not there. And we want to be able to gather there. We want provisions, and they're not being provided. So it looks like when we go for next month, we'll get bumped one day. And this is where it's going to happen. We're going to go down there that day, one way or another. And we're going to do it as right as we can. And even if it's just going to be from the road, a parking lot, I expect pushback down there. What do you think, Lefty? Probably will get pushback.
We already did.
Yeah, I was saying Lefty got pushback today.
Listen, once the ACLU is involved and they know what the situation is and they know that we're going to assert our rights at some point. And by the way, this tent top could start to blow away, so be vigilant.
Be vigilant.
Yeah.
Get your hands ready, folks.
I mean, those who can hold it down. I don't know where it came from.
Vigilance.
I was told I couldn't stand in the street, but I was actually standing in the parking lot. And there's also a walkway where you can walk on the sidewalk, so I don't know what my borders and parameters are. I'd like to find out.
Well, we can find that out, but whether it's a street or a walkway, go somewhere where it's less ambiguous. An area where it is part of the sidewalk, but it's not where people are walking and we're not in their way. It's really the area of their frontage that's closest to us has room, because it kind of cuts in a little bit there. There is room. Did you notice, is there electricity, Lefty?
No, I did not.
Go. Oh, man.
I'll check that. I'm sorry. I was dealing with the
yeah,
officer
I
this
thought I
morning.
saw something that looked like an electrical thing built into the wall.
Well,
But
we'll check afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll take a walk.
And what I'll do then is when I apply for permits next week for next month, when they say somebody's already there, I'm going to say, well, then I'd like a permit, and I'll have that address where the old archives building is. That's now the governor's office. And then they can say, well, you can't do that, and I will ask for it in writing, because I'm going to need a record of the denial. Now, what does that mean?
Yes.
What would you read into that if you were a state trooper? I need a record of the denial. Can you smell it coming? Okay, we've been here 100 times. We're activists. We're committed, and I'm asking for proof of denial. Can you hear the bus coming?
Hear my train a-coming.
It's pretty much. Put your head down on the track. Yeah, that's where we're at, Lefty. I'm I don't know what it is. Is it turning 65 that just got me all of a sudden crotchety? I mean, is that
Jim
when it
Miller is
happens?
feisty. Jim Miller is feisty.
Well, I fired the first shot this morning, so now we have at least a record of them saying I can't be here.
Yeah.
And, well, where can I be? And where can I stand? I'm not protesting. I'm just standing here with a camera.
They will. They should. Somebody should tell you. I mean, Stephen Kuspelich lights up his medicine to find out where he can and can't do it, because then the state police come out and tell him you can't do it here, and he asks, and you do that too. So we'll do it a little more like that, sort of a planned thing. I'll take a walk down there with you today when we're done. We'll come up with a plan.
Take a look at the boundaries.
Yeah, and see if there's electrical outlet, to find what the address actually is, give a little survey as to is there room, there is room to be there. And the governor doesn't come by us. But another thing is this. We saw the governor 14 times last year, two multiple days. So on 12 different days, 12 out of 33, he walked by us. 2 days, twice. On the last day, what did he tell us? He said, I love you guys.
I love you guys.
I love you guys coming here. I love when somebody has the passion.
Passion, the
and
dedication.
blah, blah, right, and all that. So if he loves that, I have an idea. Why don't we go to him and say, we'd like permission to come down where you are? Because you love us doing this. You said so. We have film. We can put that on YouTube along with our invite. If you love us so much, were you just saying you loved us to get something? I mean, what kind of thing is this? He has to help us. And plus, it could be the one thing that keeps him a click above Jim Florio for the worst-rated governor in history.
That is true.
We're offering him a lifeline. Oh, I didn't mention it last week, but he has also got the lowest favorability rating of any governor in the country over the last 20 years.
Ever.
20 years worth of 50 states' worst governors, and he's the worst of the worst.
The worst guy ever.
Wow, that's heavy.
Now,
That's the worst guy ever.
Yeah, that is fucking.
You know what? I don't see that's possible. I don't see how he could be the worst. I'm sticking up for our governor. I say he's going to help us. I say he does love us. I say he does love our
Yeah, he does
passion.
love
He
us.
wouldn't lie to us.
No, he'd never.
And
Can't imagine he would lie to
now
us.
the state police love us as well, but they really do. They do love our tenacity. So they would have no problem with it if the governor said, "I'd appreciate you allowing them to come kick my ass down here." But no, you can say yes, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Shit.
Ass. Yeah, but we can do that.
Simile.
So, but let's get a good plan with a few moves that they don't see coming, like the. I hopefully Ken, are you listening? Hopefully, you will be able to get in touch with the ACLU to alert them to what's going on. If I put it in a fairly comprehensive yet short form for their viewing pleasure, that they have helped us in the past. We are aligned. And we need them because the center of our government now is not here. And it's not even next door anymore. It's down the block. I understand that the framers of the state constitution didn't take into account if the government moves down the block, do you get to move with them? So it's got to be interpreted, and that would be the court, which is where the ACLU would love to get this, I would hope. And basically, if the ACLU doesn't help us, then we're going to protest them. Okay, I'm taking it too far.
I'm very much
Probably.
a supporter of my civil liberties.
Yeah, I think they'll be.
Your name is
right on
Liberty.
with it.
And I'm a civil liberty.
Yeah.
What's that, Jason?
I said I have faith in the ACLU. I believe
You
they'll
do?
the right thing.
I think so too.
I do too.
Okay.
I'm just.
They were here in
saying
very
this
great
now.
support for the cannabis thing on Monday.
Yeah, sure.
They've been supporting this since the beginning, and they have helped the coalition where we've been denied ability to table because of the word marijuana, where they will step in and successfully so. As a matter of fact, when I met the governor, candidate Christie, before he was elected, it was at an event where we were not allowed to go till the ACLU stepped in. So everything that picture has got, and all the times people saw it with the cones, it was because of the ACLU. I think they're great, and they do. For all everybody talk about a bunch of liberal lawyers, yeah, they strike fear into conservatives whom they come up against. They get taken very seriously. They're good at what they do.
Right.
They have resources. They have manpower, woman power. They got all the power you need. So the time is ours. But I'm really liking the outreach. Would you say 3 events possibly?
Yeah, 3.
Educational.
Hopefully starting in August. Starting this August.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. We could be ready, but in August is plenty of time to prepare and do it right. And
That's right as the governor race is heating up.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, August is. They're doing a lot of glad handing in August. A lot of times it's right about they're slapping. Hey man, how you doing?
Hey,
Look at me, I'm
man.
running for governor.
Yeah. Kissing babies.
Yeah, right.
Kissing babies.
They right around Labor Day and just before at the end of August, it does heat up.
Yeah.
And they are out in parades and stuff. They pop their little heads up and gobble, gobble, gobble. You can take a shot, as you may.
Yeah, 'cause even I want to get the city involved. I want to get city council, hopefully the mayor, possible governors. I want it to really be educational and enlightening.
Possible governors.
Yeah,
yes.
all of them. Bring them all out.
Let's see, what are they doing around that time? They're going to events like this.
Yeah,
if they get
kissing
asked to an
babies.
event like this, and it's done in the way you're describing with the people you want to be there.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing where governors, candidates almost feel compelled to show up. And if you're going to do it, 3 of them, and at least a couple of them come before the election. If they can't make one, they can make the other. You can say,
they got options.
We'll have the next one on your next clear date. When's the calendar
Right,
say? Let us know when we'll have this so you, Lieutenant Kim Guadagno, will come and explain why you might not be for legalization at this point, but state your support for decrim.
Right.
We called her about that today earlier, and she messaged about, well, it was an automated message of sorts, where to direct our concerns to. But what we want her to do is say, she says, I support decriminalization. Okay, I support it. She said it. How does she support it? How does that tangible support realized? Where is it demonstrated? Well, she says it. In her dreams, she might support it and do something, but in reality, she hasn't yet. So the chance for her is this. if she said publicly, if there is a decriminalization bill brought to the governor's desk this term that he will not sign, if he goes out of state and turns power over to me, as he does, I will sign it when he's out of state. Get it to his desk. If she made a public what would that do for her? That would say, wow, you are not his puppet. You're not his lapdog. You're sitting there in his face saying, he won't be able to leave the state or I will do this for you while I'm running for governor. You know, I think it's a pretty good move to see would she or would she not. So this is the question we came up with. We got it on the air, asked, and she got back, and we're going forward with that. But she could also come to an event and explain things. Phil Murphy will. You know he will. It's what he's doing. And I would like to think that we could finally get a legislator down there. If it's going to be in Trenton, Reed Gusciora's office is in Trenton. He's Trenton's one of their 2 assembly people. And he's never shied away from showing up at events like that when they're legitimate. It's not a smoke down.
Exactly.
You
I
know.
have faith in Reed too.
So perhaps we can
You're
get
doing
him.
a real political event and a real political campaign.
I'm volunteering Reed Gusciora as well.
I'm neutral in all politics. I stay away from politics.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to get close. That's my dirty little job. I can't help it, you know. I ran for New Jersey State Senate, and I got 2,038 votes in 2007.
Nice.
Or 2007. And it was 4.26%. I thought that was pretty bad. Apparently, it was really one of the best third-party candidates for Senate, like, ever.
Yeah, it's almost 5%.
Well, the others are 0.1.2, and I had one issue, and it was cannabis. And when they tried to talk me into another issue, I'd find a way to make it about cannabis. How do you feel about Route 9 being dualized through Toms River? And I'd say, well, you know, I was talking with my late wife Cheryl about that one day. We were riding down. It was very bumpy. And she said, ow, going over the bumps because she was having pain from her MS and she didn't have any marijuana. And they were like, we can't get him to answer a question without bringing it back. Oh, try me. Go ahead. You know, 1 degree of separation no matter which way you look. Yeah, we got some different directions going now, and I like that, but...
Lots of irons in the fire, they
Jason, what I really like is when I think an idea is really, really good, and it's not my idea. Thank you.
Well, it is.
Thank you, and flip.
It is your idea. It is your idea.
Well, damn
like
me.
Once it's given to you, your mind automatically starts
I'm
associating
on.
your
Yeah,
own beliefs
no, I
and
really.
ideas and concepts to it. So
I think we're gonna have some fun with this, and plus you're the one basically like, okay, when it's gonna happen. I like getting to ask somebody, what are we doing? Not somebody saying to me, what are we doing, and I got to come up with it. So good for you for taking it on, dude, man.
I need all the help I can get because I'm still young
you're
in this
the one,
whole
you're
industry.
You're the one doing it. You're the one taking on the initiative, and we have too little of that going on. So, all right, man, we got somebody initiating. I'm loving it.
Also, I have another question.
Yes, sir.
Seeing as though I'm trying to be more active, get my feet wet in this whole thing. Like, how would I go about starting a petition to get, weed decriminalized, deprioritized in the city of Trenton?
Well, Lefty could tell you about that. Okay, I'll tell you what Lefty would say.
Play Lefty for a moment.
You wanna go through the city council, and you got to speak up there, but you want to let them know what you're coming and what you're coming with. And if you're going to do it in that real legitimate, not in your face, what you're talking about, you want to be in touch with anybody there, and the way to do it would be to find somebody. Again, Lefty, you'd know more because you've been to council meetings.
You want stats, a lot of stats on the drug war in Trenton.
But who approaches the city council? In other words, is there somebody we know that has done this or has any rapport with any members of the council?
Do you just go into the town council meeting and say, I want to bring up this issue for a vote?
Yes, you can, but you're going to get knee-jerk reaction because they don't see it coming. What you want to do is let them know it's going to come so they know what to say and what not to say.
Is that what Chris Goldstein did?
What's that?
Is that what Chris Goldstein did?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's really the one to ask because they started doing it in Camden.
In Camden.
See how they started
Oh,
the
in
whole
Camden,
process.
yeah. Well, Chris Goldstein and Carter
Yeah, they went through a real long process. They went to the police chief. They went to mayors. They went to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Well, you can expedite that by doing two things at once. You can start gathering that, but you can also say, I'm gathering this information, and it's not going to take long to get, and we want to come and have those statistics. You know what you could do? Get Chris or Ricardo interested and have them help with your a planning session, and they're great people. I'm sure one of them will do that.
I'll help.
But if you could get them there and ask them the questions directly, what would you do? They'll ask you questions, you give them the answers, they're going to give you advice, and take it for what it's worth, which is probably going to be a lot.
I'll get there. I'm all in now.
Well, also...
And they literally just did this the last year.
I was there for that meeting.
Keep in mind, this was a success in Asbury Park 2 years ago. Randy, I forget your last name, but they in Asbury Park made cannabis the lowest priority. In other words, it's an official resolution. There was no in Asbury. It's a resolution. It's not a law, but it's a resolution. This is what the city council wants of its police force, to make it a lowest priority.
But the
we got other
police
stuff going
said
on.
that they wasn't going to go for it. Like they were still going to enforce it. They didn't care.
Because it's not a law, it's their discretion.
Yeah, well, when they say lowest priority, what they're saying is, okay, if there's nothing else going on, then it is the only priority around. But if they're letting anything else go in that, they're against the wishes of the city council. Basically, it's the city of Asbury Park saying we don't like the way it's going here. And it creates an awareness. But you're looking for something more legal to actually change the statute.
Well,
or is a resolution a good start?
Say what?
Did we smoke in Asbury Park? Is that the question? Did we smoke in Asbury Park?
Probably one time or another.
I mean, would the police not? They denied us at first, and then we had to go to the council meeting, and the police chief talked to us and said, "Yeah, you're on board. We're on board."
Deprioritizing and decriminalizing, they aren't the same thing, right?
No, decriminalizing is that's a statute. That changes the actual laws. Lowering the priority, pretty much the way it works in a lot of environments, the police do. I mean, the mayor, or the head of the city council actually is the police chief's boss.
All right.
So I don't know how that relationship works the same in every city, but when the head of the city council and the city council tells you something, it does carry weight even if it's not law.
Right.
And I guess I should do a little research and find out, has there been a difference in Asbury Park since then?
Yeah, definitely. So it is within the city of Trenton's power to decriminalize marijuana.
Yeah, they have laws within the city, just like the state can decriminalize if the country doesn't federally.
Right.
It can go all the way down to a town can have whatever law it wants, and then it's up to the state or the county, and then the state, depending who doesn't like it.
Gotcha.
So the state then could object, but it's pretty. I like it. It's pretty ballsy when a town sticks up for itself like that.
Yeah.
Because all towns aren't the same, just like all states aren't the same. So we should watch what happens in one town. Maple Shade, for crying out loud, they wouldn't even let a dispensary. They spoke so highly against it at their council meeting, and I went there, and the arguments were ridiculous. And they have all sorts of stuff going on in Maple Shade. It's a beautiful sounding name, but they got no maple trees, and it's not.
It's a busy, dense town.
For me, wrong, I thought it was all Pleasantville.
Yeah, right. Beautiful and white people walking around everywhere. It's the vision they want. I'm sorry, So I went there and watched that, but it was so unfounded. It's nice when a town goes the opposite way, like Asbury Park, or hopefully Camden, and hopefully Trenton.
Yeah.
And then that's just like a screw you to Maple Shade, saying, listen, we're Trenton and we got our crap together more than you do, and you got no maple trees and you don't got no shade.
It's just a
They have
suburb.
prostitution
That's
and
all it
murder,
is.
though. They do.
Yeah.
They do. Specifically.
I never drove through Maple Shade and was like, oh, what a nice town. I was like, let me just get.
It's on Route 70.
Shit.
It's on Route 73.
No, it's just like a suburb. Like it's all like it's boring. Like it's all just built up.
Bland. Blah.
Yeah, it is. Like I'm trying to think of an equivalent town around here. Maybe like most of Hamilton. Like it's not fun. It's just.
Well,
suburb.
the actual where people live, but when you ride down Route 73 through Maple Shade, that's where the dispensary was going to be. But
really,
they were talking about the added traffic. And I said, okay, let me inform you how this works. At the time, there was so few patients that I determined if they were going to get their medicine, say, twice a month, and that's a lot more, that if it took them 20 minutes, the odds of seeing another patient there were less than 50-50. In other words, look, there's 2 cars. That wasn't even going to be happening. And it was incredible. My only real pleasure came from that. Somebody was really meanly holding up a camera on me when I was talking, because I had my colors on, you know. And I was with Colleen Bagley, and she went and started filming him right back for me. They had a dueling cameras going, you know, scowling at each other. But that's silly, you know. We're beyond that now, and that Asbury Park could. I love what Chris and Ricardo and Vanessa and whoever else was involved, what they did was fantastic.
Moves, yeah.
And you saw how that worked, and that's hopefully, I learned what I already knew even more so, that they were so prepared. They had the figures, they had everything ready, and they were ready for questions. We need to do that too. And pointing that finger at me, you know, a lot of times I rely on Ken for the answer, but I got to be ready to pop off the answer too, you know.
Right, equally.
Yeah, so we look forward to working with you on that. And maybe, I don't think today I'm going back up, take care of some family stuff today, but we could meet any time down at the Weed Man's Joint, or what is it called now?
Yeah, the joint.
Weed Bucks or something like that.
Yeah, Well, we could, you know. I mean,
Something like
I don't say that. I don't use the Weed Bucks thing. I just say
no, I call it the joint too. That's just what that's just what it says on the sign. It's been the joint in the past. That's what it's still.
Oh no, that sign's not up anymore.
Oh, the Weed Bucks one's off.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I like Starbucks had something to do with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
anyway.
that was the invite. Come on, it was a direct copy of the logo, Weed Bucks instead of Starbucks. Come get me. You know, listen, we're not strangers to that. Last year was the Telling Like It Is podcast, because the governor had the Telling It Like It Is tour.
Yeah.
Now we got a sign. Donald Trump said, "Let's make America great again." So now we got a sign saying how many days it is till we can make New Jersey great again. We steal everybody's ideas. We invited the governor to come tell us not to, and we would, you know. I remember how I would say that. I'd say, you may wonder why we don't complain about the governor calling his tour to Telling It Like It Is tour, when we in fact have the Sativa Cross Telling It Like It Is podcast. And the reason we don't tell him not to is because we stole it from him. He didn't steal it from us. We invite him to come steal it back. We're out front, the governor come say it, but he wouldn't, so we have that all. And then he got out-told it as it was. What's the proper tense with that? He was telling it like it is, and Donald Trump out-told him like it is. Made his telling it like it is thing seem pretty second-rate. He was not the bombastic one. Christie was used to being that guy.
Oh yeah, in New Jersey, he was that person.
He got out-Christied.
He did.
He did, big time.
I mean, Christie spent a whole year campaigning in New Hampshire, and he only got 8% of the vote. And he spent a whole year up there. So.
What's up, Anthony?
Shows.
What's going on? What's going on with everybody?
Relaxing. Just got a lunch. It was delicious.
Yeah, the lunch is really good.
It's actually pretty good. There's a lot of good places here in Trenton. Nobody
There
knows
is.
about.
There really is.
Oh, I like your shirt. You can't scare me. I was born in Trenton.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. That's pretty good. That's some good work, too. I like that.
Yeah, it's custom. Got it from Teespring, and they was like, well, we got this imagery here, and what do you want to put on there? And I was like, I'm going to go with the Trenton thing. It can't scare me because I was born in Trenton.
You kind of feel that way compared to, you know, where are you going to go get scared? Other than, well, Camden might scare you a little. I don't know.
Camden don't scare
We
me.
are
Camden's
okay.
all right.
Camden does
I
not
just,
scare me.
I mean.
I've walked through Camden. It's not
It's
bad.
okay.
Yeah.
Trenton, however.
I know people that live there. It's fine.
It's very beautiful, but
And for those that don't know, Anthony showed me something here that it is possible to live Facebook when you're getting stopped by the police.
oh yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, it's just like you always want to ask, am I being detained?
Yeah,
That's like
but the
the
fact that
number
it
one
was live Facebooked, you know, I mean, I didn't see it live. I saw it a week later and thought it was live, and we were at the joint, and somebody brought it up. When did this happen? So I didn't actually get the benefit of being mad when I should have, you know. But You know, that's pretty impressive.
I'm so mad.
When the camera's out, you know you got something. We just have our own little body cameras. Be pretty good. Maybe I'll do that.
We would get some amazing
GoPro or
footage.
something. Yeah, then there's a lot of times when that would come back to haunt me, you know.
The day in the life of the president.
As it is. Well, we are getting towards the time limit here. We're running into our past 2 o'clock range. So while it's been fun, it's been real. Okay, it hasn't been fun. It's been a little bit painful for Lefty, and
it's been rough, dude.
a little bit of throat issue for me.
Oh, killing me.
Allow me to medicate you, sir.
Oh, I'd love to.
Well, technically, one patient can't help another, but
I won't say nothing.
I know. I'm saying that like, how wrong is that, right? Out of all things in the law.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jim.
Okay, who's the bigger douchebag?
You ever burn yourself with a torch?
No, I never have.
Well, I have.
One time, okay, when I was a kid, I used a lighter, and it had something to do with lighting methane gas coming out of my body, and I burnt myself that way. But it was just a lighter.
Wait, you burnt a fart?
Well, it wasn't the fart that burnt. I did it wrong.
Got a little.
I was a little kid. Come on.
Skinny singed
You know.
the earth.
I seen somebody else do it. They used a match. I used a lighter. I got too close.
Another tragic farting accident.
Oh my
No,
God.
okay.
When farts go wrong.
Okay, it's not about cannabis, but you're on the subject.
It's okay.
I'll tell you
That's
one
okay.
Kind of
That
fart.
can slide.
Here,
That
let
can
me give you.
slide.
Let me give you a
No,
quick.
kind of fart's a new
okay,
thing.
Okay, quick, uninterrupted version. 35 years ago, brothers in Florida, I'm here, brothers that we are. I'm taking a bath because I'm sore, and I got a lot of bubbles coming up because I got gas. Now, the shampoo bottle was empty, and I know it's empty. So when you turn it and fill it with water and turn it upside down and bubbles go in it, the bubbles replace the liquid, and it becomes no liquid at all. Then you put the cap on it, and you have pure whatever it is. In this case, it was methane gas because it was my bubbles. And I thought, this is going to be funny. I'm going to send my brother an empty shampoo bottle. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to open it, right? So what I was doing, I was laying back in the bathroom, in the bathtub a little bit, and I picked my head up off the back of the bathtub, and I opened it, and I wasn't doing a volume concentration analysis where it's like, okay, normally when you have that odor, it's in a bathroom of so many cubic feet. This is cubic inches. It was like 70,000 of these would have fit in there. What did I do? Put it up to my nose. My head shot back like a smelling salt, bam, on the bathtub, and I slipped a little bit, and right through my head went, oh my God, I could die from this, that split second. It would be, you see the show 1,000 Ways to Die? Yeah. Killed by his own fart, So anyway, it was germane to what you were talking about. Not my fault. You went off course, but I figured I'd keep the bus off course for a second because seriously, I mean, how bad would that be? They'd figure it out, maybe,
That is definitely friendly fire.
Yeah, then I never sent it to him, friendly fire. I never sent it to him, but come on, would that not have been good to send that over state lines and have it work out like that? I was even thinking of do not smell or something. Okay, don't look where.
Do not smell.
So anyway, I apologize for that if it offended anybody, but you fart too, so good help.
That would have been a good 1,000 Ways to Die story. That would have fit right in.
Well, if I had died,
Yeah.
Sometimes it seemed like I did when I look around.
You
but
could
probably not.
send them the story and say, my friend,
yeah, right.
my stupid friend died.
No, they probably need verification. No, they don't. I've
No,
seen
they
some
don't.
of these things. Guy went through.
They don't need verification. They want
a
to
little
make
meteor
money.
went through a guy's body one time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe it. You watch some sick stuff, Eric, man. How do you know, Jim? Go ahead.
1,000 Ways to Die was funny.
Yeah.
They were like nuts. That show.
You ever see the guys that smoked poison ivy? Thought
They
it was
put
weed.
poison sumac.
No.
Poison sumac in a
Yeah,
joint, and they
were
smoked
like,
it.
we don't have
Yeah.
any weed. Let's smoke this plant. It
Yeah.
What
looks
happened?
cool.
They died.
They died.
Really?
Yeah. So don't smoke poison sumac.
Well, don't smoke anything with the word poison in its official name.
People have died smoking poison ivy too.
Well, okay, again, poison ivy.
Yep.
How about and poison Gehrdal? Okay, I made it up, but the poison part should say don't smoke the Gehrdal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was poison.
Poison.
Did you notice, Lefty, towards the end of each podcast, we seem to start having fun because we know we're not about to?
Oh, yeah, but that's not yet. First of all.
It's not yet?
Not
Good.
yet, no,
Good.
because I need to know when you burn yourself with a torch.
Okay.
It was cannabis related or no?
No, I didn't. It wasn't a torch. It was a lighter, cigarette
Okay,
lighter.
so I burnt myself with a map gas torch trying to dab.
Where?
On my down there.
How? Okay. I don't know if I want to know how you dab that way.
I dab nude, and the torch fell.
Oh, I thought you were ingesting through a different part of your body
No.
somehow.
I dab in the nude.
That's what I assumed.
It's a true story. I keep my room 95 degrees because of my back. I like it hot, so I walk around either with shorts on or in the nude.
How many bottles of water do you drink a day?
Not enough.
I got mental imaging. Stop.
So the torch fell, and it burnt my pubes.
Really?
Yes.
Man, you're lucky it didn't fall a little closer.
Yeah. But I don't do that anymore because there's a better way to medicate.
There should be 1,000 ways to fuck up a system.
There should be 1,000 better ways to medicate. Is what there should be 1,000 of.
Should be a show like that. 1,000 Ways to Medicate.
Yeah.
Magical butter makes your recipes better. Magical butter makes your recipes better. Yeah, so 1-800-420-4334.
What's that number again?
1-800-420-4334. MagicalButter.com. So stop burning your pubes and your farts with lighters. There's a better way to do it, guys. Make some butter. Make some butter. Make some tincture. Make something with your machine. Magical butter makes your recipes so much better. Right, Jim?
So much better. And how many ways? So many ways.
Oh,
better,
man.
better.
Everything.
Magical Butter Machine is what you need to turn your cannabis into edible products of so many kinds.
Brownies, tinctures, edibles, sauces, soups, candies. Does it all, Jim.
It does it all. And, you know, if it's something so simple as butter, it's as easy. It makes better butter.
Does it make
Avocado
anything else besides
oil.
butter?
And as always, we want to thank Aaron Angel, the proprietor and brains and everything behind Magical Butter, because he has allowed us to give away some to patients and people that need it over the course of the last 2 years. And my own brother in Canada, who's here now, bought one in Canada or got it to Canada. And he is also now one of those people who has no complaints. Stainless steel, easy to clean.
1-800-420-4334. 1-800-420-4334. Get your Magical Butter machine from magicalbutter.com. Thank you. Magicalbutter.com. There you go.
I love how you end that right on time. That's great.
It's fun.
You always know when it's coming.
It's a
Even
fun
though it's
song.
repeats, you still know when it's the
I
end.
love that song. It's in your head, isn't it now?
What's the
you
name of
want
the
it to be in my...
song?
I almost texted you. I don't, one of them, that or whichever song. I had a song seriously stuck in my head, and I don't want it. So no. The answer, if it was a question, would be no.
Well, I want to thank CMMNJ for getting cannabis legal here for patients in New Jersey. Thank you, Jim Miller, Cheryl, Ken Wolski.
Whole crew. And we're really a big team. Ken's really the face, and people hear about me because I make myself pretty visible, but we are, in fact, a dedicated team behind it.
What's behind you?
Newest board member, literally right behind me here, and a valuable addition. So, you know, it is a work. It's more than any couple people could do. And we got good people on the job, I must say. You know.
Absolutely.
And just in time, because this is the year.
Best activists
This is
ever.
the year.
Seriously, New Jersey has the best activists ever.
We're going to get things done this year. That's the thing. Things are getting done.
So magicalbutter.com, sativacross.com, Happy Daddy Products, NewJerseyWeedman.com. Sitting in jail for 110 days, is it now?
111 maybe.
On a hunger strike.
It's 113, I think.
And he can't talk about his hunger strike because he'll go into the hole. So he's doing his hunger strike on the DL. Can you believe that shit?
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you do that on the down low with nobody knowing?
Leave it to Ed. He'll figure it out.
Well, they will.
He looked like crap too, by the way. He looked like shit in court. He was pale. He didn't look good. Skinny.
You could tell he was just happy to see
It was not good. Yeah, it was not. He was so happy to see. It was sad. It was fucking sad. Sorry for the F word, but it was fucking sad.
We'll give you that one. We'll give you one more if you want.
For something like that, you're speaking from the heart.
Yeah. Well, it is
Care about
wrong.
your friend.
And, you know, I got to say something, though. When somebody like Ed Fortune, a.k.a. Weedman, or in his case, I like to say Weedman, a.k.a. Ed Fortune, because, you know, I called him Weedman for years before I ever called him Ed. Respect. When they got to play at that level, that means he got under their skin, you know. I mean, because they can normally slap somebody down a lot easier than that, and Ed just keeps coming back. And now that they got to play this way with him, says they can't handle him any other way, or they would, you know. They have to resort to this to be able to handle him, and the reason is he's pretty good about knowing his rights, you know. And real quick thing I say, what impressed me out of all things Ed ever did was when he was incarcerated and got out of prison, and they came back and said, we want some of your DNA. Come in and give us a sample. There's a new law. He said that law wasn't in effect when I was released, and it's not in my parole provisions. And they said it's an unwritten provision of your parole.
Unwritten.
So now anybody else could respond how they want. Ed sat on a photocopier, photocopied his ass, sent it to him and says, if you want my DNA, you can kiss my black ass and take it off my lips. They took him to court for that.
Yes.
And Ed represented himself
Yes.
and won in
Yes,
court.
he
Yes, he
did.
had the right. So
Yes.
he not only told the guy, kiss my black ass and take it off your lips, publicly with a picture.
Yes.
Then when he got taken to court, he beat him there too. So that
Come
was
on.
that was very impressive. And that's what
Yes.
gets us to like
That's
that he
what I
gets
love.
stuff done.
Yes.
And that's the same reason that the police say, you know what, we gotta kick him when we can. And that's what they're doing now. And whether I knew Ed or not, I don't like that. I don't like strength, playing their strengths when they're not right. You know, I don't like that. And 100 and how many days, Lefty?
111?
You got 180 is the limit, if I'm not mistaken. That they have to then, and they
Do they have to give him a trial at that
can't-
point?
They can't.
Yes.
If there's something indefinite detention, they can't run out past that. There's standards, and they're going as long as
But
they
listen
can.
to this. If he represents himself, and it's a hung jury or a mistrial, he goes back to jail, and the 180 days restarts.
Oh, God, are you kidding?
Yes.
In this country. Here, where we are.
Yes, that was one takeaway I took from that. That was my oh shit moment. I was like, oh shit.
Ed thought it was 90 days. The judge said it was 120.
120?
120 is coming up, right?
Any at all? How can
Even though that's so messed up that they can restart the
No,
clock.
they restart it if it's a retrial. If it's a mistrial. Well, 180 days.
This
wasn't
is
it?
like Monopoly.
That'd make it
20?
a year.
All right. Well, 120. Oh, that's better. Oh, so much.
So much- oh,
okay.
that's
Never
kind.
mind. Never
So
mind.
kind.
Never mind. Sorry. Never mind.
No, they
100.
that's
It's fine.
kind of them.
That's cool.
It's not a Monopoly game. Don't go and collect and go
crap.
to jail. You know, you can't. Even
bunch
in
of shit.
Monopoly, you get out of jail for crying out loud.
Unbelievable.
And is there another trial coming up? Another event? I mean, he was in court, and how was that disposed of?
This week he should find out if he can represent himself.
Yeah. So was that the issue last week to reconvene and if he can? So he's going to totally represent himself without another lawyer present?
No, he'll have a lawyer present.
So he can confer?
Yes.
Okay.
The judge was grilling him on.
I've seen him.
all
I've seen
that.
him represent himself in Burlington County Court, and it's rather. I want to say amusing. I mean,
It's amazing.
in a good way. It's amusing.
He
amazing.
cites case law from like the last 100 years of 20 cases of each. He's amazing. Ed Fortune. You don't want to mess with him.
Well,
it took him an hour to interview him.
He brought in I forget what it was. It was a whole bunch of toilet paper or something, and says I buy my toilet paper in bulk a lot more than I could use at any one time. I buy my cannabis in bulk.
Yes.
You know, so he was having fun like that.
I love it.
But a quick Ed Fortune story, real quick. They had the jury was getting a little glassy-eyed, so the judge said, "Listen, I'm going to give you a 10-15 minute break," and everybody left the jury, the judge, most people, but I sat in the courtroom with a couple other people, and it was just Ed and the prosecutor, Prosecutor Luciano. And he's a bulldog of a guy, you know. And he said, "Hey, Mr. Fortune, how you doing? How you think it's going so far?" And Ed very politely said, "I think I'm doing okay. Can I ask you a question?" Prosecutor said, "Yeah. You ever watch The Untouchables, the one that was the series that was on in the 90s? "Yeah. You like that show?" "I did like it." And he goes, I thought you would because, I don't know, you remind me of Elliot Ness. And he leaned forward, smiled, went, "Really?" And Ed leaned forward and went, "Yeah, Elliot Ness was an asshole. You're an asshole, too." So he got him leaning in. He did that in a conversation he couldn't have in court. He took advantage to do it. And then when we left, I was in the the elevator with the prosecutor, the only one. And all I could say is, I don't know if it needs attention, but boy, you got a vein standing out in your head that really looks like it's going to burst. Like with all seriousness, because he was mad. He was really mad. And then he's like, what are they following me for? Same trial, I was asked to go tell my buddies at the van smoking pot, Mr. Fortune and them, to not smoke pot out there in the parking lot. Go, why don't you tell them? You're the sheriff's officers. Go, oh, you don't want to call attention to the fact that he goes out and smokes pot because of his health at lunch, calling attention to the fact that he could probably indeed smoke 2 pounds of pot himself, that if he has to do this at lunch and he's arrested for smoking pot in the parking lot while he's on trial for having 2 pounds of pot that they say he can't possibly smoke, could become part of his defense. Well, just go tell him. They could just, no, I'm not going to tell him, you know. And they took my signs away. They took signs away, threatened me with arrest because I was trying to help out. So I wish there was something I could do now, but there just isn't anything, I don't think, other than show up and... yeah.
Now, does that mean, like, with mistrials, they could keep retrying every time there's a hung jury, right? Is that how it works? Or is
there's no
to
my
limit,
knowledge,
right?
there's no limit on the number of mistrials you can go through.
So they could just keep him in jail indefinitely, kind of that way.
Well, yeah.
Unless, well, the jury kind of has a part in that, I guess.
To the point. But the thing is, and rough as it is to realize, this is things that prove a point as well. There's a man named Bobby Sands in the Irish Republican Army. And I'm not sticking up for the Irish Republican Army, but Bobby Sands went on a hunger strike, and it lasted 72 or 74 days. And then when the bells tolled for him, 2 days later for another, a few days later for another, they were dying after that long of not consuming any food. And it was what made me, all the way across the ocean, notice their commitment. And I, for my own fault, probably didn't actually understand the issue or go into it. But here, I think Ed does know that if this is public, he has a chance of really getting somewhere with this. And the hunger strike, how long now? Is he not eating? Is he just, I mean, he's having liquids, obviously. You do that during a hunger strike. Is he just eating absolutely nothing?
Absolutely nothing.
10 days? I've gone 10 days without nothing when I was in the hospital, but that was only because I didn't want to use a bedpan. So I figured nothing in, nothing out. And by the way, that's a fallacy. But in his case, this is like a really heavy moral play. And we know Ed's commitment.
Oh, yeah, right.
What's it going to take for him to break the hunger strike? It's not going to be his health. It's going to be, his goal was probably get them force feed him. Then you don't die, and you win, and you get noticed. Well, there's more like him we don't hear about. Well, there's nobody like him, but there's more people that are in comparable situations. And according to what I read in the paper today, there's a pretty good chance it's because he's a man of color, that perhaps somebody like me might be able to get away with things a little bit better. Not that I'm going to try, because, man, I do not match him in any way, shape, or form when it comes to commitment like that, and I'm pretty damn committed. But he's in a whole nother level.
One thing you can do is support the joint. Go there and buy some chicken wings before 11, after 11, at 11, at 11:11.
It'll give you a good idea why you should do that. Well, yeah, it'll help, but Chef John has really got some good stuff, man. This is not just going there to buy food. This is good food. He has what is it,
it's great food.
The honey bee sauce or something.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Bumblebee sauce.
Bumblebee sauce. Oh,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. So go.
Mac and cheese is good too.
Go find out why we like Chef John so much.
Extra donation.
He's absolutely the best. And not that anybody's going to rush down there for soup, but if Chef John's ever making soup, get whatever it is, the man is like the best soup maker. Soup Nazi, you're number 2. Chef John, he got the best soup. I'm not kidding. How can you have tomato soup makes you go, wow, when you
Oh my
taste
God,
it?
that tomato soup was so good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was the best tomato soup I ever had.
Me too.
Yep. Definitely.
So, yeah, support the New Jersey Weed Man's joint, or go to NewJerseyWeedman.com. DavidVersusAutism.org, Blue Planet Biotech, Run New Jersey. Oh yeah, here we go. Medical-freedom.com. Where's William?
He had to leave.
Oh, he left
He
early.
told me to leave, so he needs that box to go with you, the Medical Freedom box. He actually told me to tell you.
Medical-freedom.com. Get your State of Compassion flags from medical-freedom.com.
We don't hawk them for him, does he? He doesn't bring flags, though.
He should.
He has to.
There's usually one on the table.
Yeah, but I mean,
There is.
if he's got some to sell,
Yeah, it's in the
he's
box
got to come sell them. He's got a trademarked, excellent-looking flag.
Yeah.
there. I mean, it's just the American flag everywhere, but in the blue frame, it's a pot leaf with stars within the leaf. And he, for a while, there was 17. There was 17 stars in another state, and he made one with 18, and he just settled on the final version, and they've been well seen around other parts of the country. One was flying on Lake Ray Cheryl Miller's final resting place in Oklahoma last year a couple times. We had one sent down to fly.
We have to put one on Anslinger's grave.
Yes, Harry Anslinger got one. With some urine.
He's buried in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta tell you, how many people have made the trek to, pee on his grave, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Do you know what town he's in?
Hollidaysburg or Holidayville or Hollidaysburg.
We could have bus trips out there.
Yeah.
A cannabis, everybody partying on the way
Cannabis to
out.
Harry Anslinger's grave.
Have a few beers, you gotta go, you're at the graveyard, let nature take its course and go home. And I don't mean to be sacrilegious, towards the dearly departed, but he's not dearly, he's just departed.
I don't.
I like that.
Few people today miss him.
Well, we talked to his niece one day,
Yeah,
Harry
we did.
Anslinger's niece.
We should call her up.
What did she feel? Like, was she?
She feels it was the times. He was just reflecting the times.
Yeah, and she made some points. There are things long ago that were more politically correct than are now in many ways. And, it felt odd talking to an Anslinger relative about Harry Anslinger, but she was very good about it.
Did she feel like she had reefer madness, or is she still anti?
She recognized what happened because of him and what followed. She does recognize that, but she thinks that the hatred may be overblown because this is, by today's standards, how we hate him. And if we were of that time period back then...
No, bullshit.
We hate
bullshit.
him
She's doing... I agree with you,
yeah.
bullshit. But I'm
Bullshit.
just saying she took the call and did the best she could,
Let me
and
tell you
she wasn't
something.
adversarial.
If it was the 1800s, we'd be the ones that'd be doing the Underground Railroad. That would be us. I'm telling you. So there's white people that are on the side of black people throughout history.
Where was she from, by the way? Not that it matters, but some parts of the country
She was
are a little more forgiving than others.
West. Yeah, somewhere.
Well, anyway, I'm glad she took the call because,
Yeah, she didn't have to do that.
no, she didn't.
Yeah,
And,
because back in the 30s, there was white people that didn't agree with Harry Anslinger. Not everybody agreed with him.
It was rushed through Congress so fast. There wasn't even a debate on it. It was
And-
kind of
and
introduced one day, and it was
And they were given,
passed that day.
They were given false testimony. Somebody had asked if anybody from the medical community was consulted, and they said yes, but there was doctors that were dying to have something to say about it, and were not allowed to. Woodward, I believe.
You're kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This was in the 30s, right?
No shit. Why does that not surprise me? Fuckers.
It's sad that we're still dealing with prohibition in 2017.
And Gerald Cardinale, a senator, a guy who was born before Prohibition. But we got plans for him.
We do.
We're going to advance it.
Yes.
This time now it's coming into July now. We're going to advance what we're doing from week to week. We'll get a little bit of homework going on.
I mean, we're coming to the finish line in some ways. As long as we can make the big hurdle through this governor's race.
No coasting. No coasting.
coasting.
You know how you lean at the finish line, even if somebody's not there.
That's the thing. If Kim Guadagno gets elected, that's us leaning over the finish line, and being like, nope.
Well, I don't see it happening, but we didn't see Chris getting elected either. So we got to learn that it is possible.
We didn't see Trump get
However,
elected.
we are giving her a unique chance to step up and give the boss a little slap herself.
You know who else stepped up is CannaSense. They stepped up and they give cannabis cards to people all over the country from California, and they will actually send you cannabis through the mail legally through CannaSense. And New Jersey Grannies for Grass, Tuffy's Fight, Legalized for Lorelei, JacksonStorms.com, Prayers for Sarah, Prayers for Pete, Jenny's Purple Ribbon Journey, Jenna's Journey, Women's Veterans Collective, and Weed for Warriors. There's our sponsors.
I feel like we forgot somebody, but maybe that's just a cannabis-related affliction. You always feel like you're forgetting something.
We got them.
Yeah.
But I want to thank people like Cheryl Miller for paving the way for us to be here and helping me get my cannabis card for my horrible pain that I have today. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Jim.
You're more than welcome. Always part of a group effort. Even with me, it was Cheryl was my group, and then afterwards the group got bigger when she was no longer around. So it's
You got a pretty big group now.
Yeah, and I got
And every week it's
I got a
different.
podcasting co-host and personal friend of mine in incredible pain right now. That's why he's not talking, and this is serious crap, you know. And this is beyond the scope of cannabis's ability here. It's not going to get rid of some things.
No, cannabis does not help my nerve pain, unfortunately. I wish it did. It doesn't help my nerve pain.
It won't do everything, but it does a lot.
It helps me.
It does a very
It does
much.
help a lot. But,
And even if it doesn't help nerve pain, you got to cope with the pain. Then if
yeah.
it helps in your head,
It is.
coping it a little bit.
I can't imagine how it would be without cannabis. So yeah, there you go.
Well, don't imagine it. You don't have to.
I don't want to.
You don't have to.
So thank you, Cheryl. Sabrina Rose was a 15-month-old baby who died waiting for her cannabis. She waited a quarter of her life, and she died waiting. It's disgusting what they did to that family.
Heavy cross to bear.
You give them a horrible decision to make. Either way, the decision sucks.
And when that happened, Brian and Megan Wilson decided real quickly after that they were not going to wait in New Jersey anymore to get help for their daughter Vivian, watching friends of theirs lose their child. They became refugees and moved to California rather than risk letting Vivian stay here any longer. We have refugees. We have people leaving the state who would have been such a great continued asset to the state. The Fornbacher Wall family took two of the greatest people I know out of the state, and their children were just like awesome, only because she couldn't bring her children up here advocating for cannabis, because one of them said the word hemp one time in school, talked about hemp, and Division of Youth and Family Services came, and it was a shitstorm.
For hemp?
Yeah, because of saying that. They were investigated for that, and that was it. And they're not, you know, they are smart, successful.
Did they get to keep their kids?
Yeah, no,
Okay,
everything
good.
worked out. I think it was Bill Buckman who stepped in, or I don't remember if it was Ann Davis or Bill Buckman. Somebody stepped in and straightened that out. But then, rightfully so, it's like you can take the lumps yourself, but when it's your family, you have to do what's right for them. You have to do right for what's right for your children. And if leaving the fight that you want to have, that you could have, because it might affect your children adversely, that's what good parents do. So they made the right decision for their kids, therefore for themselves. And but they're an asset to the state, not to mention a rateable and paying taxes. So people are leaving the state. We got refugees. And New Jersey can't afford for more people to move away, because we're not ranked too near the top of anything when it comes to...
Except for property tax costs.
Yeah, we're number
We are
one.
at the top of that.
We're number one. Well, they're not getting property tax from them.
Yeah, exactly. The state of New Jersey is losing money when marijuana is not legal in many ways.
So, Jim, this morning I went over to try to see the governor.
How'd that go? I mean, back where the office is now at the end of the block in the
Yeah.
old archives building, it's now the governor's office.
His new office.
How'd it go?
And I went there because we made a promise to Roger Barber's family to get that bill passed and expedited. And I was there to ask Governor Christie about expediting that bill to allow the nurse to give Jenny Barber her medicine. Because we made a promise, and Roger Barber's not here to fight for his daughter, and it's up to us. And
We didn't just make a promise. We made that promise that Roger Barber, father, lawyer, did the work that everybody can benefit from to make New Jersey the first state to allow a Schedule I substance on school grounds. He did that because of his daughter. Everybody benefits, but not good enough
No.
if you got to go give them the medicine yourself. So, let's see. Well, Roger died, and that left Laura with not only no husband, no lawyer, no father for her children, but her greatest advocate was gone. And Lefty and I both made her that promise at Roger's funeral service. And we haven't been able to fulfill it.
No, and it was very emotional for me today because I felt like I was going to meet him. I felt the energy, and I just didn't get it. And it made me very sad that I'm not fulfilling my promise that I made. And I'm trying. Because I don't like this list, and I'm trying to do what I can for the people that are still on this list that have unfinished business. And Roger has unfinished business on this earth that we need to help finish.
Oh, I do hate this part of the show, but it's what drives us. Remembering all the people who have passed away before their time, before this could help, or because of the struggle, or during the struggle. And just some people who the war on drugs have affected through their whole life because they have died before seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
No, don't put that there, please. Thank you.
No empty, no uncapped bottles on the table.
You can cap it and put it there. But.
Yeah. So, this is why we torture ourselves here, so we make sure we come back next week.
It is torturous.
Well, it's torturous watching you, bro.
Oh, dude, I know. I feel horrible.
I feel helpless.
I know, so do I. I think I feel.
Well, sorry.
This fucking sucks. But, when you talk about the drug war and victims, there's Jeremy, Joanne's husband. She's by herself now, single mom. Her life was ruined by the drug war, and her husband's dead because of the effects of the drug war on him. He couldn't smoke, and he started drinking and doing other stuff because he couldn't smoke. He did stuff that...
Legal stuff.
Yeah, legal stuff that'd be out of your system in a couple of days. So that's what he did, and that's probably what I would do too. That's exactly what I would do too. Or in Eric's case, I would get a medical cannabis card and tell the judge to go screw yourself. I'd go to drug court. Say, yeah, Your Honor, I'll take drug court, and I will take that drug court with a cannabis card. There you go.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna have to keep going places. I just want to get this completely.
Going places?
Like going to drug court every couple times a week. Hell no, I'm not doing that shit. Not even considering that.
Well, Jim, this is yours. That's all you.
But I'm gonna find a way to.
Well, this is going to be odd because one, I don't have my glasses.
It's out of order. Sorry.
And oh my God, I see Sabina Rose, Diane. That would be Diane Rapatella. Yeah, she had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and she came here. Her husband Joe brought her in her wheelchair, and she would tell us how she was afraid of dying, and this helped her, and it was very sad. And I'm just going to read the names. We know who they are. And with my sniffly nose, it sounds like I'm crying, and I'm not. I just have a sniffly nose. And if I was, it'd be my excuse. So either way, I got a sniffly nose. Deal with it. Gracie, Cindy Mae, you mentioned, I think. Marie. Jack. Tell me about Jack. Well, I know. Who's Jack? Let's see. I'm seeing first names.
Jack from Colorado.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking New Jersey. Another child. Oh, so many are. Michael Dillon, Joan Ford.
Michael Dillon was Honeybee's son.
Oh my God. This is not for me to be doing here because I usually listen and with my eyes closed try not to have tears because I want to look.
Just like that.
Yeah, Honeybee's son, drop seizure, gone in a second. And Jeremy, Colette, Jeff's mom died from complications from MS. Matt, Troy, pancreatic cancer. Was Troy a cannabis patient? Because
My friend.
pancreatic cancer, while you only have a 5% chance of living 5 years from a diagnosis, people using cannabis have had better results than that. Russ Perry, Roger, we mentioned, Jay, Oleto. They're all gone. They were here, and now they're gone. They could have been helped, and some were, but if they were, it was illegally. How the hell is there such thing as illegal help for somebody's health? How should that ever be the case? Well, that's our list, and I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to recite the Ode to Remembrance. No, I mean, I've heard it 75 times, but I will mess it up, and I'm not going to do that. They shall not grow old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, at the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we'll remember them. We will remember them. Sorry. Good podcast. Sucks it in, but it keeps me coming back.